Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Hello.
No James Farley this week. It's just a three-person show.
He's on another holiday. I say another holiday. He's usually at work stuff. It is actually a holiday this time, isn't it?
Yes, this is a holiday, yeah.
He sent us a picture of him looking really happy on a deck chair by the pool.
Yeah, he was on the deck chair by a pool in jeans, jumper, a hoodie, and trainers.
His
with
arms
socks.
Folded.
Yeah.
Looking miserable.
And he's like, ready for the tan, boys.
So that's that James Farley is away this week, but we would like to start the show, as we always start the show, by thanking our Patreon producers this month. They are the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Don Whiskerando, Colin Smith, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Gordon Garrow, Safe as Records, Sam Higton, Freelance Police, Jonathan Edwards, and a new returning Full Nels. Happy birthday, James S. from Tom S. They all went Full Nels. And honestly, seriously, we thank everyone that supports us on patreon.com/TCGS. But we really do have to give a massive shout out to everyone that has gone Full Nels this month. And whether it's a repeat or you're returning, it's really, really appreciated. And it really does keep us going. It really... Guess who's just come back from a very expensive holiday? All I'm saying is you're literally feeding my children this month. So
it's at the point now where if I was to mention to someone I don't know that well that I do I don't really bring it up, but if I did, if I was to mention that I do a podcast and I can tell they're not really taking me seriously, I might consider mentioning how much money we make.
Really?
No,
really?
Probably not.
No,
I mean, just to prove it's like, no, we're not just fucking around, right? And we are. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an amount that sort of makes it seem semi-legitimate.
It's mucking around, but we also take home $12.99 a month.
Yeah.
So it's now we're like, hello.
Well, and to be fair, as I've said before, most of the money we get gets put back into the show for tax reasons.
It doesn't.
So that, I mean,
it goes on food and fucking electricity.
Yeah, but then you always panic when tax season comes around, Sean.
Yeah, I know.
You go, oh fuck! What do I do?
I should be starving and I should have all the lights off. But my priorities are all.
I want to be warm and I want to eat. No, so this week I ordered. Jedi, the man Jedi.
Oh yeah, the Star Wars
next week, right?
Is it next week?
Well, yeah. So I wrote down all the games now are about to come out very soon. It's brilliant. So we've got Minecraft Legends tomorrow as we record this, the 18th.
Not really
I look forward to playing that. So it's about
apparently
Jedi Survive on the
reviews.
Jedi Survive on the 28th. So that's 11 days away. Then Redfall week after. Then Zelda.
I'm not into Redfall. I think I've decided that I'm not into it.
We'll get onto that.
We'll get onto the news, but yeah, it's another big release.
Tokyo, man. What? Is that what you've been playing? Is that why you want to get into it?
No, it's in the news. It's in the news.
Because of the news, the red hot news.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Yeah, and then I ordered Big Zelda this morning with the beautiful Zelda 25 code that was floating around. Did you see that?
Yeah. I did the same thing. Because I was still on the fence as to whether I went digital or physical, and then I was like, yeah, 45 quid, thank you, Curry's.
45 quid for Zelda, yeah, Curry's. I'm just horrendously worried that they're going to go bust at the end of the week, and this was just a really clever way of getting a bit of money in before that happened.
I haven't bothered doing that. I don't want to wait till like the delivery arrives at 6 p.m. in the evening.
There is
go to the supermarket in the morning.
But then also, doesn't like eShop stuff not unlock until fucking 5? Well, that's the Xbox,
yeah. So eShop's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
This will be a delivery, so God knows what time. So I'm just going to go to the supermarket in the morning and buy it as soon as I can.
Fair enough.
You will pay £15 extra to play it for an extra like few hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I might do the Argos switcheroo. Do you remember?
Oh, what's the matter with you? Aren't you working that day? No, none of you work.
Work from home, mate.
Right.
It's only a 10-minute walk away, mate.
I can play. Yeah.
No, I've booked a day off. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right, should we get onto the feedback from last week's show? Should I?
Oh yeah,
should I offer? I've just got one thing that I want to talk about. Really, it was about. Can I stop for a second? Can I just pause for a second?
Yeah.
You're
right.
Just test 1 2 1 2. I did do a test.
Yeah.
Hello. Right. Okay.
Hello.
So that is having an effect on it. Sorry, Matt.
That's very quiet.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Just while Dave's doing that,
adjusted,
but about big releases, I assumed weeks or months ago, hey, big releases come out at midnight in the eShop, but according to the website, it says that games don't come out till 2 or 3. I know when I ordered Monkey Island and I was excited to play it in the morning, that didn't come out till 3 or 4 o'clock. But the eShop website itself says that digital releases come out at like 3 p.m. CST. Central or Central European time, whatever it is.
It's a risk.
So I was like, well, that's happened. I don't want to wait till 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I want to get it first thing in the morning and play it all day.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, I mean, if pure in chat, if that is the case whereby say like a big first party game comes out at midnight, then that's amazing. But the website says 3 o'clock Central European time. And I do want to risk. I do want to wait for that. I do want to risk Curry's waiting all day for a delivery when I got a day booked off. So I'll just.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm
just trying to entertain the nation while you're.
I don't know what's going on with this. This I'm a little bit worried, but we'll
What's the matter?
What's the matter? I mean, you sound fine to us.
It's just coming out really small on the thing, and changing the game doesn't seem to have an effect. Sorry. Oh right. Penis. Right. Okay. Sorry. Right. Let's go back to that. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone.
Bit of feedback.
No, Scientologist. No, it's no collection. It's delivery only.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've only got a little bit of feedback from last week's show. Excellent show, as always. Great to have Sean and Sarah on. I love them both.
Sean the Boat was all right as well, wasn't he? I'm on fire.
Well, wait for my feedback.
I bloody wish you were on fire, mate. Know what I mean? The one bit of feedback that I had, I found it really interesting. James Farley's Chia segment. When he was talking about Chia.
I knew it was going to mention.
For starters, him calling it Chia was interesting enough. But
I think that was a genuine. I don't think that was him just mispronouncing. I think that was just a general Farley fuck up, right?
Little bit.
No, I've seen another podcast. I'm not sure which one, but I swear I heard someone else say to cheer.
Oh, really?
It says cheer throughout the whole game.
Maybe he thinks
anyway,
that's right. Go on.
Anyway, I will say this: if he seemed to really love the game, and I'm all for that. If you enjoy the game, then that's all good, man. Good for you. It was weird how he spent the entire time not talking about how he loved the game and just focusing on why I didn't. And I just think
I noticed that.
I think that's interesting, James. And I think maybe you need to just have a little think about take that little observation away and think about that, because that I thought was fascinating. I was sitting there going, okay, all right, James seems to have enjoyed it. Let's see what he's got to say about it. Why is he talking about me so much? I'm not in the game. James, tell everyone why you liked it.
I was the same. I was like, because he told me he finished it, but I didn't know how much he liked it or didn't like it, and I was like, this could go either way. And when he's like, he liked it, brilliant. Yeah, why? And he did mention a couple of bits, but I was like, David said his piece. Now I want to hear why you like it. And it's just
why you liked it.
I love that. The conversation around that game has been so fragmented on this show, hasn't it? Because
it really has.
Dave not liking it, and then the following week me liking it, but I think James still hadn't really played it, and then James had played it and really liked it, but I haven't played any more of it, and now James isn't here, and it's just been this ongoing thing of
it's this ongoing. It reminds me of Titanfall 2 actually, because if you remember, the reason why everyone had the ump with Titanfall 2 was because I spoke about the single player. Then the next week I spoke about the multiplayer. Then the week after you spoke about the single player, Sean, and then spoke about the multiplayer. Yeah. And then it felt like about 2 months worth of fucking chatting about Titanfall. When really it was just really segmented. But James, just listen, man. Listen back to that segment again. Have a listen to how much you talk about the game and how much you talk about me, and then maybe go and have a little think about why that's happening. That was a strange. That's feedback. That's my feedback. Matt, did you have any feedback?
Yeah, and also a great show. I mean, I do always enjoy kind of listening to it as a fan or as a listener. It's always good. I didn't really have any feedback on the show. Great show, but I did want to talk about the discussion about the PlayStation Portable. And this isn't a dig at Sarah.
Oh my god, that was incredible! That whole
yeah. This isn't a dig at Sarah at all. But like, there was a thing saying, hey, you know, I would love to get it, but the price has got to be right. And she mentioned 100 quid. I'm sure that's a joke, but like, this is the same company that just released a £200 controller. Like, this thing is going to be £400 minimum. Like, I think you mentioned, Sean, like the Logitech cloud streaming device, and that was like 400 quid. It's Sony. Even if it's just cloud, well, not cloud, if it's just remote play, given it's basically like a controller split in two, it's got a screen. It wasn't OLED. It said LCD, so maybe a bit cheaper, but it's going to be $350 minimum, isn't it? It doesn't matter. Yeah, this is not going to be like a lovely cheap thing to play.
That's not where the conversation was going. I mean, the conversation was for this use case, for the luxury of having a portable version within your home. You know, how much is that worth to you? How much would you pay for it? And I think Sarah's bang on. I think that price is £100. I would pay £100 to do that, right?
Yeah, but I would like not pay. My Razer Kishi.
No one's saying everyone's gonna it's gonna be that, but I think you're looking at it and you're going, no, that's £100. I wouldn't pay more than that.
I mean, like James's backbone was 110 quid. My Razer Kishi was 80 quid. Like. This is going to be 300 or 400 quid minimum. Even if
I don't think anyone's expecting it to be £100, but
no, but like, it's just like you kind of get excited about his devices, and it like looked like a, you know, from the mock-up looked great, nice idea. I can get it. Yes, there's no like cellular stuff, so you can do it outside the house, even with public Wi-Fi. Now, but come on,
the other thing that was interesting about that conversation was, admittedly, I think it was Sean, but correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. You were talking about how silly it would be to have a console in your house that, you know, firstly, you've got to have it linked to the device. So, you know, it's not like you can take it. I think it was more James talking about taking it on the train and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going, but you both talk about the Wii U like it was brilliant. It wasn't. It was fucking shit. It just had good games on it.
It was, no, I'm a Wii U defender, but I don't think, I very rarely like just played it on the handheld. Like, I enjoyed the sort of, well, Nintendo Land and not really much else, because nothing else really used that stuff.
We can look at that and go, that system was fucking shit. And you know, I had one and I loved it because it had one of the best Mario games, the Mario Kart game that you know we're still playing today. It had that on it, which was amazing. It had one of the best Mario. The 3D like world was absolutely incredible. That was on that system. It had amazing games on it. The software was good. The hardware was not. And it's okay to say that.
It's a bad screen as well. I mean, I know it was older, obviously, but that was a bad screen on that controller.
Oh my God. You know, and it did, you know, it was bad. It was perfect for the likes of Mario Maker. Like it was, Mario Maker on that device was absolutely spot on. I think it. Yeah, that was an interesting conversation.
Do you remember?
If you switched your head and thought that you were talking about the Wii U, then suddenly the stance was totally different.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the Wii U came out and you had to turn the Wi-Fi off on your phone or else it wouldn't work?
Yeah,
that was incredible.
I don't want to be a dick, but I remember arguing with you about that at the time.
No.
I do. And you went, it's fine, just put it on. I said, but I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. Jesus, that was on Joy-Pod.
I didn't play Nintendo Land, nor did I own a Wii U, but could Nintendo Land work again on the current hardware?
No, because it very much relied on, so like the game was like happening on the telly, but then there was this cool sort of asynchronous stuff where like one player's got the controller and then the other players have got like Wiimotes or whatever. So like the Zelda one, which is probably the best thing on it, right? It's this like adventure game where you're all making your way through this environment, killing baddies and stuff, but the three players with the Wiimotes are all like sword and shield users, whereas the person with the controller has got a bow and arrow. So you've got this sort of oversight of what's happening, and you're trying to like help pick it up. Like really fucking good.
But the concepts of that sort of concept can be adapted to the Switch. I think like you can certainly play games if you've got 3 people with Switches or 4 people with Switches in a room. One of them can dock it and the others have different things. You've essentially got Pac-Man Versus that was out on the GameCube. Do you remember that? Matt?
Yeah.
Pac-Man Versus was it was on the GameCube. It came free with Racing, I think, or it was a rally game, right? It was a Capcom rally game, and it had a bonus disc. I think I've still got it in. I'm pretty sure I've still got it in the garage, right? This game, and the rally game was terrible, but it come with Pac-Man Versus, which was you would get these. You would what would you do? I can't remember which way around it worked. But you plugged a Game Boy Advance into your GameCube, and one of you could see, one of you controlled it, like 3 of you controlled the ghosts. That was it. 3 of you controlled the ghosts on the main telly. So it's like a split screen. So it's a really zoomed in version of your ghost. So you're trying to find Pac-Man, right, and trying to kill him. And the person holding the Game Boy Advance was playing just a normal game of Pac-Man.
Right.
So it just looks like Pac-Man, but the 3 on the main TV are controlling the ghosts. So all of a sudden you'll see like a little corner of Pac-Man go past you, and you're like, there he is, and you're all trying to capture him. And then all of a sudden you'll turn blue because he's got a pill, and you're like, fuck, and you're running away. Honestly, one of the best multiplayer games I've played. And I think there's an opportunity to do that, but I think maybe the concept is, it's one of those things like with HD Rumble and some of the DualSense stuff. If you're going to see that stuff, you're going to see it within the first year of its life, right?
Yeah.
And that sort of novelty stuff sort of drifts away as other games start getting released. So I don't think we'll see any of that stuff now. But I think it would have been possible on the Switch. You know?
Yeah.
Weird.
I still feel like that whole thing of like, multiplayer games where it's like same room, but people are being given different bits of information. Like that right. I feel like that's still really underutilized. It's probably really hard to do, right? And not many people play same room multiplayer anymore, etc., etc. But it's cool.
Yeah, you could do escape room stuff maybe, or I mean, basically like that. We Were Here Forever, David, the game we're playing or playing on stream, like that could work. Local multiplayer, you all seeing different things. But I guess online is just easier, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But that's it for feedback from me, and I'm assuming from you, Matt. So
that's what I mentioned.
The listeners, I bet they were fuming. Sorry.
I just mentioned the Sony handheld thing. That was my only bit of feedback.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm assuming they all hated it last week, did they?
Well, Alex79 did, kind of. Dear TCGS conspirators, okay, I don't write in to be critical very often. In fact, I've never done it before at all, but I felt the need to write in about the new Mario movie. I saw the film twice last week. I took my eldest one day, and then a couple of days later, I took my younger two. Both times, I and they absolutely loved the film. I felt like everyone on the show last week was being a bit of a misery guts about the movie, and all I kept thinking was, okay, Dave will be back next week to tell them how wrong they all are. So, Dave, I'm counting on you. You loved it, right? Right? Don't let me down. As always, thanks for everything you guys put out. Cheers from Alex.
I did love it. Yeah, I thought it was really good fun. We all had an absolute blast. Kids come out loving it. I really enjoyed my time with it. Was it as good as I'd hoped it would be? No. I think they failed to really get any sort of character into the characters, And I suppose that is quite a hard thing to do when you're facing very well-known characters that have nothing other than Wahoo, Let's Go.
Mamma mia.
That was I forgot to mention last week. That was, and this isn't like a shitty comment about the film, but like my favorite bit was like as the film started, like 2 kids in the cinema, it's like different corners of the room, both went, "Oh yeah, Mario time."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
fucking
brilliant.
Amazing.
That's brilliant. But, yeah, I know some people will hear what I've just said and say, well, hold on. There was loads of character in the RPG games or the, Mario Super Saga stuff. There was, but that doesn't really translate over to a movie in the way that you would hope, right? You can't have a sarcastic Mario rocking about everywhere and, people tutting and sighing and making jokes. Like, that's not going to translate into a kid's movie. I think it's hard to, I wouldn't argue with anything that James said one thing that was a bit like I'll get to that in a minute. But the criticisms that Sean and James said on the show last week, it's hard to argue that, because I do think they played it extremely safe, and I do think it wasn't as funny as maybe it should have been.
It wasn't really funny at all. Like it
had a few good laughs in it.
I think it was shocking lack of laughs considering.
There was one very good laugh during. I can't tell. We won't talk about specifics, but no, there was one bit in it that really made me laugh. The whole. Let's not talk about it. But there's
let's not. But I
absolutely adored.
I just expected and there's so much opportunity as well, but it felt like very safe. They didn't want to put any humor in. Maybe there's too much of a risk. Maybe they didn't want to do the whole meta thing that the Lego movies did, as Sarah mentioned last week, and the other like really great kids movies that I've loved for years, which do that kind of humor that works for both adults and kids. And also, what I think about the humor thing, just before you go back on, David, is like, it's a kids film, we get that, but a lot of the kids that grew up with Mario are now adults, so you'd think there'll be a bit of something. For the people that were kids when Mario first came about, like, hey, we got you, don't worry about it. There was just nothing of that. Nothing at all.
I thought that was odd.
It needs to have that. Like
it doesn't need to. But
inherent. It has to have more adult aimed humor, or it has to. I don't think that's really a requirement. It's interesting. I always I listened to Trey Parker talk about, because he was in Despicable Me 3, right? And they were saying, why did you choose Despicable Me to be in it? And he said, well, firstly, because my kids love Despicable Me. So me being in Despicable Me film. He said, but I've also, I like Pixar films. Like, I love them. And Pixar films are great at doing exactly what you're talking about, right? But he said, what I like about Illumination is that they don't feel the need to do. Many other kids films seem to try and have, hey, but also there's this adult stuff in it as well. Whereas many Illumination films don't have that. They're just out for a romp, or just it was for me personally, it was an explosion of sound, visuals, non-stop references, and I loved it from start to finish. But I feel that actually, having a little bit more plot in there. I think the main problem they had was that they tried to cram too much in to this one film. And it sounds silly because we're talking about it as it was kind of empty and flat, right? But what they tried to do, they tried to get a ridiculous amount of characters in there in a short space of time. We know Donkey Kong's in there, right? That's all over the advertising. I don't know if they should have held back on those characters and that world until later films, because we know there's going to be loads more films. We just know
because it's because there is so much in it. It makes some of the omissions look really weird. Like, where the fuck was Yoshi? I know there's that one bit where there's loads of Yoshis in the background, but I'm like, I told Isaac Yoshi was definitely going to be in it.
Okay. Joe, no. We'll talk after the show.
But no, I mean, I didn't think it was a bad movie. It was fine. I think for me, absolute highlight was the music. I loved the content art. Recognize the music from the various games. I thought that was brilliant. I love the references. I look at seeing the F-Zero things in the background, and I loved. that was great. There wasn't a second I wasn't looking around the whole screen trying to find a cool Easter egg. I like that. I loved how it sounded, it's just awesome seeing the characters in that environment. How good it looked. It was really just amazing to watch. But as a movie, as a kids movie, they just didn't have enough time to other kids movies I loved.
They didn't have enough time to bed the main characters in. There was too many side characters in it. You know what I mean? And I think that was a detriment to the film, and it stopped it from becoming an absolute classic. I think future Mario films are going to be awesome because they haven't got that. Right, it's got to have all these characters in it. It's also got to be an origin story. It's also got to have this musical bit in it. I think they'll have more time to breathe with things.
Do you think they'll do another one then?
How much does it earn?
Maybe 700 million.
Yeah, but I don't really know.
I think $1 billion by next week.
I don't know what they do with another one though.
I mean, there's millions of stuff. They could do loads of stuff with a new one. Mario and Luigi live in the Mushroom Kingdom now.
Yeah, they can add a story.
They already beat Bowser. What else is there to do?
Can you bleep that, Matt? Can you fucking bleep that on a fucking thing?
I'll
said what the fucking ending was. Can you please write that down and bleep that?
Yes, I'll believe it.
Fuck's sake. Sorry.
Anyway,
I thought you were talking about what I said. I was like,
no. It's me.
Not obvious.
No, I mean, it's obvious what I'm saying, right? But also, I just said what the end of the film was.
Okay.
So, shut up. Shut up, everyone in the chat.
Unbelievable.
This is the risk you take. Right, hold on.
Anyway, no, I'm glad I've seen it. I mean, Elodie thought it was amazing. She said it was hilarious. She loved it, and I'm glad I saw it with her. But
it was. Maybe I wasn't clear enough about this last week. Like, I had a really fucking good time seeing it with Isaac. Like, if I'd gone on my own, I don't think I'd have got half as much out of it.
I will say this though, and I mean this. I very rarely pay attention to movie criticism, right? I don't read reviews. Every now and then I'll watch a Commode clip to see what he thinks. And, what he said about this film was pretty much what we're saying about the film. He said, look, this is not the Minions movie. This is not a Despicable Me, but it's not anywhere near as bad as the last Mario movie was, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the reviews, reading them, and even going back and reading them after seeing it, you're just like, is it really that clickbaity now? Because honestly, the whole, you'd have wished you'd have seen the original one. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. No, James last week saying, the original one was interesting. He's right. It's an interesting story, but it's not interesting in terms of an artistic viewpoint because you read the story of the development of that movie, the artistic viewpoint, what didn't come to fruition. What they wanted to do with that world didn't happen because of the studios getting involved.
Right.
Like that's the whole point. Like the whole thing is a mess because it was too many cooks and too many people falling out and the cast getting so pissed off with the rewrites on the day that they just started getting pissed during recording and stuff. Like it's a fascinating story, and James, you're right, it is interesting, but oh my God, it is a total mess. So those comments were really fucking me off. And like it's those comments that you just got like, James, oh my God, I feel like I'm beating you. Like, I love you, James. But when you said last week, it's like a really long intro to a Mario movie. No, it's not. What does that mean? No, it's not. Why are we saying this stuff? It's clearly not.
He's trying to get clicks, isn't he, James?
He is.
He's trying to get clicks for the show, and I can't complain because I am also on that show.
And we are profiting.
Thanks for lovely clicks, everyone.
Yeah, cheers, James. I don't know. I really enjoyed the film. I think people were waiting to absolutely destroy it from a critical point of view because some of the stuff that like if I was to read a review that said the stuff that we've said and still gave it 2 stars, you'd go, do you know what? I kind of understand, right? Like I kind of understand why you've given it 2 stars. And if your focus is actually, I wanted them to really go into brotherhood and what that means, or I really wanted them to do this, I go, yeah, you're not getting that from this movie. So I see your point of view. But the stuff that was being said was like, as you said last week, it looks shit. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, like, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, bizarre.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah. And I will say this as well. If you're a movie critic and you went there, A, without a kid, and B, not really knowing much about Mario, then I totally understand why you're baffled because there's just the vast majority, there's music throughout, and you'd be like, why is all this music there? It's because it's totally trying to evoke those feelings or whatever. Right.
Anyway.
Before we move on, I know I've been a fucking nightmare. I really want to check this audio.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I've just realised News left the dishwasher on as well, so I'm going to go and turn that
Let's
off.
Take a 5-minute break. I'm going to
Matt's really looking forward to this edit. Do you want to go on holiday again, Matt?
I'm so sorry, Matt. I'm so sorry.
Are we stopping and starting again?
Are we stopping and starting again? We are. Okay. Oh shit. Okay.
Hold on. I just need to mute you guys because I need to listen back to. I don't want to lose anything. That's the problem.
To hear.
Okay, so we are stopping and starting.
Shit. Yeah. We are stopping and starting. Big time. Save project as. What are we on? 347. Yeah.
347. Can you believe it?
I genuinely can't.
That is a big number.
It's like intimidating now.
Well, yeah. So we didn't do anything for our 7th birthday. Will we do anything for the 350th episode?
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, everyone.
we missed our birthday, so yeah, doing something cool for episode 350 would be nice. But it is also only 3 weeks away, and we're not very good at organising things.
And also, 350, is that really worth what's going on?
It's a milestone.
Is it 347 then?
350.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to turn the dishwasher off. Won't be a sec.
I'm really sorry, guys. I was panicking about the audio not coming out properly. It's fine. I'm just looking at the waves, and they are tiny compared to what they usually look like.
Tiny little wabs.
Sorry, Matt. I know this is a fucking massive ball ache.
It's okay. I just won't be sleeping tonight or Tuesday, or the pod's delayed. Everyone, by the way, although you're watching this live, so it doesn't matter. But this one will come out in December.
You'd ever let that happen.
Yeah, I would never. Over my dead body.
Yo.
Over my dead body.
Oh, what a... I'm not going to say it's like a cursed recording, but there's been issues.
Well, yeah. I think, but stream-wise, that's all good, right?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, the stream stuff's absolutely fine.
Yeah, we've said goodbye to Skype, hopefully. For
God, yeah, I might just actually fucking uninstall Skype now.
Well, let's not push it. We always got that and Discord if we have to.
Because what I really want to be able to do with this is, like, when we do talks overs, like, just run it all in one thing, so we're all definitely looking at the same thing as well. That would be cool. Yeah.
I cannot apologise enough. I think my head is just all over the place, and maybe that's what's happening. I'm just super worried about fucking everything up.
It's all right.
Right, my first one's in the thing. So now I'm going to do a new...
just exploring mine.
Test 1 2 1 2.
Something I thought about the other day is obviously last summer we had, in here at least, it was like 37.5 degrees. Pretty warm. And in the summer, generally, and I do apologise to everyone listening, generally we do it in just my pants because it gets so hot.
Test 1 2 1 2 1 2.
And now I'm thinking, now we're on camera. Like we started the camera stuff just after summer, right?
That's right. Yeah. It's late last
September.
Year, yeah.
What we're gonna do now when it's 40 degrees and we're like roasting and we have to wear clothes and
tank tops, mate. It's gonna be fine. But I mean, we're all gonna look like shit as well.
Yeah, yeah. We just got a pool or a clock at 5 in the morning already. Yeah,
that's gonna be,
yeah. I should invest in aircon. You're right,
but then that's noisy, right? So you couldn't really.
Yeah, I see people in the summer, definitely last time on Twitter, saying, "Oh, I've installed aircon," where they're kind of like it's like a big aircon thing next to the window. It's in the window, right, and in like the tube, and
yeah.
That seems like.
Ben's saying save up for an outdoor studio. I don't even know if that would help, right? Because like how hot it got last year, there was no escape from it.
No, that's nothing's going to fix that.
There's no reason why we can't do these without the video. Just have our audio streaming on the Twitch channel,
I guess.
What's the builders here rustling and sweating?
We could just say no, not doing it on stream this week. It's fine.
Well, isn't that part of the challenge, though, David? I said I don't want to do it, but also
I'm trying to work around the problem, Dave, not just
just ignore it. Yeah,
this is what you like.
I said on the hottest day of the year, didn't we?
Oh my god! No, Ben said we can become VTubers.
Fuck yes.
Oh, that's actually funny as fuck.
Yes, we'll all just create our own VTuber or something. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
God, that'd be so funny.
Are we all ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Testing. 1 2 3.
Oh, sorry.
I'm good now.
Everyone hit record. 3, 2, 1. Matt. Yeah, so in summary, the Mario movie, brilliant time.
Quite good.
Could have been better.
Yeah.
Could have been a bit better.
Yeah.
But no complaints from me.
Solid. Next. 3 out of 5 for me.
You've been singing the song as well, I assume.
The song was good, yeah.
Peach, but yeah.
Oh, it's killing me. Yeah. Non-stop. Oh,
yeah. Well, let's go on to feedback number 2.
So a friend of the show, Chris Spann, saw that video and he was like, he doesn't really like Jack Black, doing funny singing. So and he was like, "Ah, oh,
he doesn't like Jack Black then."
Yeah, basically.
That's a take.
And then yes, he was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that. Didn't really like it." I was like, "Yeah, it's probably one of the best bits of the film." I thought.
Yeah, that's the highlight.
No,
that is not one of the best bits of the film.
Disagree.
The bit in the middle.
Disagree.
The bit in the middle. I loved it. I love that bit so much. Right, okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's one of the best bits of the movie. Anyway, let's move on. Jesus. Feedback bit number 2. Dwayne Pipe
nice.
as messaged. Brilliant. Bit of feedback from last week. You just got it. Okay. Can we promise not to have further use of the word icky, please? Hearing grown adults use that word makes me feel rather, well, icky, to be honest. Should we have used the word ick? That's more 2023, isn't it?
Ick is cool now.
He's got the ick.
Rank. We used to say rank at school.
Gross.
That's rank.
Yeah, icky is very kind of American, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, no, can we not say, who said icky?
Probably. I mean, it may have been me. I don't know.
It wasn't me and you, David.
That's true. We know it wasn't.
Anymore. It's horrible.
Right.
Horrible word to use.
I won't say it anymore then.
Good.
Right.
Good.
Say moist
Frank.
instead.
Frank has messaged, have to agree with Sean hating on Phil Harrison. I can't stand people who constantly fail upwards. Imagine always being shit and it having no consequences on your future employment prospects. Where's the justice? From Frank Lampard Jr. from Chelsea. So, it's a football gag.
What's good is I don't need the context for that because it explains itself.
Yeah, the first part was enough.
Yeah.
It does. My favourite part of that conversation was Sarah initially saying, "Yeah, but it's not just the failings are not just down to that one person. You got to think there's a team there." And then within about 5 seconds, just jumping on board to give Phil a good old kick in with everyone else there. Right? It was like it wasn't that she was changing her mind; she was just laying the small print out.
Yep.
And then going,
and then caveating it, and then
beautiful.
going in for the kill. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Phil H has messaged, looking for work. An established business professional with a rich history of working in the games industry. Has an eloquent, captivating speaking voice and knowledge on all things streaming. Specialities include recognizing failure, how to file for bankruptcy, and tough conversations. Devilishly Hampshire. Looking forward to hearing from you from Phil H. So if anyone's got any work for one of our listeners, Phil,
maybe we could be the guest for episode 350. Get him on. Well, he's got nothing else on, has he?
Everything he touches turns to shit.
That's true.
Good point.
So,
it's true.
Let's avoid that one.
Yep.
But he's always attached with failing projects, so...
Yep.
Oh, dear. Grim Goober. Where's David when you need him to stop the space sick chat?
I did go on.
No, that's okay.
I liked it.
Are you okay
with that one?
Okay.
I liked it.
I was alright with that.
It's about physics.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's the wading through shit one that I had to pull them up on.
If we'd been having the same conversation about like diarrhea, that would have been a different. Yeah, that would have been worse.
Yeah, so space sick good, space poo bad, David. That's the
space poo pad.
It's basically the same. It's basically the same stuff. It just depends which end it emerges.
Yeah. Okay, that is it for feedback. Go to tcgs.co/deartcgs to leave your message.
Should we get to the news? Should we talk about news? What's been happening in the gaming world, Sean?
Sega have bought Rovio, the Angry Birds lot.
Do you get a feeling that Sega just don't want to be in existence anymore?
They're just trying to fuck up.
Yeah, they just go, oh, come on.
Well, interesting. Yeah, the story after this is they've actually hired Phil Harrison to
Angry Birds.
Yeah, no, it's got that thing. You know, you'd hear about those people that would act terribly towards their partner because they didn't want to be the one to break it off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like what Sega's doing. They're just making all these weird moves.
But then
shareholders.
Everyone's buying mobile devs at the moment, aren't they? Like, obviously Microsoft buying Activision, which everyone seems to be saying is actually more to do with King than it is Activision or Blizzard. And then what was the one last year? Shit, I forgot. Someone bought Zynga. Who bought Zynga? I can't remember. Someone did.
Someone
bought. So I've done.
It was a surprise. Whoever did it was.
Yeah. And now this, and it's just interesting, isn't it? Because obviously we keep talking about how mobile games are shit now.
Well, yeah, but they must know. They must know something we don't.
Exactly. Like they must still be huge.
But too much of a trend.
But like Rovio's a I don't know, seems like a strange one because, as a lot of the write-ups I've seen on this have sort of delicately put, they have not really replicated the success of the original Angry Birds, which was a while ago at this point.
It was a while ago, but it must still be worth something, that franchise, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they
still
made see it in arcades and shit. Huh?
They made a film out of it, didn't they? Do you reckon the Angry
Birds made two films?
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they're better than the Mario film?
Right, right. Okay, you're doing what James does.
Yeah.
I liked it, really, and then digging it every chance you get.
No,
did you like it, really?
It's just funny. Yeah, I did.
You didn't like it.
I enjoyed watching it.
Just be honest with yourself.
Oh, yeah. What is that a comment on the screen, Sean, or the movie?
Do you work for the Guardian, Sean? Is this where we're going to find out the pseudonym on the Guardian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you work for Bad
man.
Resistance, Sean?
Yeah, what the fuck a Bad Resistance?
Yeah,
it was an old Sega blog back in the day.
Was it?
Oh right, okay. What old reference to pull out your ass?
Pull that out nowhere. Well, he's the Sega dude, so it makes sense.
Exactly.
No, I'm the Sega dude.
David's the Sega dude.
I'm sorry.
I'm the Sega dude. He's the Sega dude.
Right.
He's the one that says he was a massive Sega fan and never actually was. He just played Sega Rally every now and then.
And Burning Rangers.
And now Angry Birds. All over Angry Birds now.
Well-known Sega game, yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I don't know what Sega's moves are at the moment. It's something must be going on, but yeah, I don't understand it.
At least it's only like 706 million euros. It's not like a 25 billion thing.
Yeah, because the rumor was that it was 1 billion.
I don't think they've got 25 billion though, Matt. Do you know what I mean? I don't think.
Well, the Sonic movie did it, right?
706 million.
Yeah, because the rumors were that it was going to be 1 billion, and then so the final figure was 706 million euros. Do you reckon that was Sega scrambling around the back of the sofa and stuff? Like, look, I know we said 1 billion, however, this is all we've found.
Yeah,
we'd love to pay that.
Absolutely. Yeah. They got to the table and just went, we said that was just to get us through the door.
Yeah.
How about 1 million?
How about 706 million for cash? If we give you cash now today, what can we get?
For trading value.
How about we give you
at the Sega store?
Yeah.
We give you every penny we have, but you're not allowed to ask us how much that is until
that's what they did. Read your email again. That 1 billion wasn't cash. No, it's 706 million cash. The 1 billion was credit on our store, so you could buy all the Sega Saturn hats you wanted. Because all that sweet
Sonic
merch,
Movie 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. You can all get a copy of that for free.
Listen,
we'll throw that in for you.
The original version before we updated Sonic.
Yeah,
Cosmic Slash 2 is happening. We're gonna be fine. Sega's gonna be all right.
Good point. Let's move on.
Let's move on. What's next? Redfall is coming out very soon, and it has been announced that on consoles it'll be locked at 30 FPS and will only launch with a quality mode and no performance mode on the X and the S.
I was away last week, but you were talking about this in the group chat, weren't you? And I don't want to play this at 30 FPS anymore. Do you think I am? What do you think I am?
Well, it's do you know what I mean? Like because there's 30 frames a second and there's 30 frames a second, right? A game can be made with 30 frames in mind, right? And it can be tuned to feel good at 30 frames a second. However, all the footage we've seen of this is 60, right? It's safe to assume that's how the devs have been. That's what they've been working towards. Which suggests to me that it's not going to be a great experience at 30. Like 30 frames a second is not the end of the world. Like we know that we've all played games at 30 and enjoyed them. But if it's been designed with 60 in mind, I don't know. It's a worry. I mean, I'm sort of weirdly relieved when I saw that it was the X and the S. I was like, oh, good, the S isn't going to get a kicking this week.
Well, but maybe this is because of the S. Maybe they couldn't get 60 frames working on the S.
Because
they would have done that. They would have kept the 60 FPS on the X, I'd have thought. Look, I don't know what's going on at Microsoft at the moment. Like in terms of Xbox Game Studio, their output is absolutely insane. Like not in a good way. Obviously, it's every game that's coming up. There was more. I mean, I don't know. Is this in your your news about someone else leaving the Halo team.
I couldn't find proper confirmation of that. Was it actually
right? Okay, someone else left today.
Oh, really?
Someone else left today. Like it's
so, yeah.
You know, you've got all of that stuff. You've got the stuff that where the fuck is Fable? Everyone from the Forza Horizon team seems to be sprawling off in different directions.
Perfect Dark. No.
I mean, Perfect Dark. What happened to that? It's I don't know what's going on with their software development at the moment, but there's clearly there must be. Do you remember that?
Are they developing software?
We've mentioned it recently.
That's my question.
We've mentioned it recently. They had that one E3 where they were like, "We're buying these, we're buying that, we're buying this," and then for years afterwards, we were going, "It takes time."
This will pay off.
All this comes to fruition.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. No. It's utterly bizarre. Utterly bizarre.
I think the other thing that's somewhat galling about this is, so the tweet where they announced it, it just says 60 FPS performance mode will be added via game update at a later date. I mean, what does that mean? Does that
When's the later date?
Next week, 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, and they know, like, whoever had to write that tweet knows that is not a good message. So I don't think there is an answer to that question yet.
No. They're definitely not one they're willing to potentially delay until they get it to a place where they're super confident. So they're clearly not super confident they can do it or when they can do it. That's why it's just at a later date. So it's very disappointing. Again, this is one of the we've been waiting for this just because it's a game on Xbox. It's out on PC, I assume, as well. But this is like, hey, finally a first-party game on Xbox. It looks good. It's been a bit weird in messaging, but I was, overall excited for it. And I'm like, oh, don't fumble it now. We're like a week or two away from the game coming out.
Yeah.
Plus, I think like the other, and this isn't Redfall's fault. Well, it's nobody's fault, but like this now makes this an after Zelda game. Do you know what I mean? To me. Like this is one I was looking forward to getting a bit of time in, like with friends and stuff before Zelda came out, and now it's like, I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it would make sense to wait for the 60 frames mode, but
to be clear, me saying I'll wait isn't me being like, oh fuck 30 frames. It's like no, the game looks really cool. I just want to play the best version of it. Because I think it deserves
a little bit.
It,
but then the last game I did that with was fucking Cyberpunk. Do you know what I mean? And in the end, I never played it because, the time had passed. I was not excited about it anymore. I'd seen how shit it was. When I first played it, it sort of killed that initial buzz for it.
But this isn't like that. I mean, it's a 30 and 60 frames difference. I mean, that is big in the grand scheme of things, but we're not equating it to a broken game like Cyberpunk. So
that's not what I was doing. That's exactly not what I was doing. What I was saying is that... Go on.
No, I was just saying, having both in games in the same sentence, we're not implying this is now like a broken dog shit game. We're just
no, that's not what I was doing. What I'm saying is that the problem I had with that was I'll play it later when it was ready. But once the buzz had gone, I failed to drum up enough enthusiasm to actually sit down and play it, which is ironic considering the game I'm going to talk about later. But it's just... I don't know. I've never been super pumped for Redfall anyway, so I'm not that bothered to hold off. And we've got 2 big releases coming out in the space of 2 weeks at the end of this month. For me personally, anyway.
I was just looking at so obviously the stories on Eurogamer, and they have those little surveys or polls, and it says like there's a lack of 60 FPS performance mode at launch, a deal breaker for Redfall. 54% saying yes, I won't play it till it's added. 26% saying no, I'm not really bothered about performance. 20% didn't want to play it anyway, mate. Fuck off. Like, all right, whatever.
Who asked you?
Eurogamer.net.
Oh right.
I don't know. I was more interested following the most recent showing they had of it, but we'll see. I mean, I think I'll still give it a go at 30 and then assess, because I want something to play before Jedi Survivor on the 28th. So I'll notice afterwards, isn't it? In which case, good point. I'll be playing Jedi Survivor.
While we're talking about Eurogamer, I unfollowed them for the first time in I've followed them for ages. I followed them in Twitter recently.
Wow.
Fuck me. Have you seen their Twitter output?
No.
It's really, thankfully they didn't do it for a game that I cared about. But for like Resident Evil 4, on launch day, they were saying, look at this cool thing that's in the game. And it was just like, people might have wanted to have seen that.
Yeah.
mean, what are you doing? Like, I can't imagine. Thankfully, I wasn't following them when the Mario movie was released, because I bet there was loads of articles about. Look at this bit of the Mario movie. This is a screenshot of the Mario movie, and this is in it. Like, fuck that. Why are they doing that? Oh, clickbait. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
it's
like, they all do it to a certain extent, but
I don't want this anymore. I don't want this content anymore. I used to fucking read that website every time. Every day I used to log in and read that website. What the fuck has happened? Sorry.
I mean, the website stuff isn't so bad, but yeah, the tweets can be a bit different because they're trying to get engagement, whereas the site itself is a bit more like.
I fucking hate engagement.
You're a gamer of old.
I hate that word. Engagement. Oh, look, yeah, we're pissing everyone off, but look at our numbers. Yeah, good for you.
Unfortunately, that's the game you have to play. I mean, the worst way.
No, it isn't. Just like, you could just not play that game. No, you
have to play that game if you want to, increase your reach and engagement. That's what the game is.
There we go. There's that word again. There's that fucking bollocks word again.
Unfortunately, if you want to get seen, you've got to piss people off.
It works in marketing, Dave. We're gonna have to just accept that he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Never.
That's the game.
Absolutely never. Never.
The thing of that, but kind of related to that is like tweets I can unfollow and stuff. It's when like you get like thumbnails on YouTube that clearly show something. I'm like, don't show me that in a fucking thumbnail. Like I haven't even watched a video and you've spoilt the thing for me.
Oh yeah, but they're doing it. It's good though, Matt, because of engagement. Next,
Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League is 100% definitely delayed until February next year.
What the fuck is going on with this game?
So I thought this was like a new delay, but apparently this is the one that when we last talked about it, it was like, oh yeah, we're thinking of delaying it, and this is now the confirmation of that delay, but it's much longer than we thought, because it was initially they'd said like a few months, right?
Okay.
So yeah,
but we didn't have a date, and now we've got a date, and it's
February next year. So I mean, maybe this, because we were saying last time that like, oh, well, it's only a few months. This probably is just for polish. Rocksteady, mate.
Right,
the Batman people. We were saying, oh, well, it's only a few months. It probably is just for polish. I don't think they're going to be doing like a U-turn on all the stuff that people don't like. The games of service stuff. That's probably still the case, but this is a much more significant delay. So you do wonder if they're going to
fundamentally change it from like a live service game to a non-live service game in just 8 months or whatever.
Well, exactly, because someone at Warner Brothers is going to be like, well, I've said it's going to make X amount of money, so no, you're not taking that out.
Plans, allow for that.
You look at their run, though, it's crazy. You've got the games before this: Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, 3 bangers. Arkham VR. All right, it was small, but my God, it was a great experience, right? And then this.
Does make me laugh that they still
called into Wikipedia,
because obviously Arkham Origins was the thing, right? And then they never.
Yeah, that was the one that slipped in the middle.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they sell like the Arkham trilogy and just don't even acknowledge the origins.
That was. I mean, everyone knew what was going on there. That was clearly the. Yeah. I mean, I never played it. It's the one that I didn't play.
It's the studio's got pedigree. They made amazing games, so we should just trust that they know what they're doing. But obviously, all the feedback about it being a live service game, like really, left a sour taste in everyone's mouth.
And it's, when we saw the footage of it, I thought what we saw looked fun, but it's clearly nothing to do with the Arkham games. Like you say, the pedigree's one thing, but this seems like such a departure.
But that's okay, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's as fun as them, then that's cool. I mean, it doesn't have to be related
we say this
to
every
them.
time when we talk about this studio. Please play Arkham Asylum. You'd love it.
I know.
So good.
Like Arkham Asylum, especially because that's the Metroidvania one. Do you know what I mean? Like a little bit Metroidvania.
I mean, they all are a bit, but that one much more. Than,
that one much more than the others. They went a little bit more open world with the others, but please play that one especially. It's on Game Pass,
so which one is it?
Isn't it?
First
Asylum.
Asylum,
the first one. Yeah. You'll fucking love it. It's so good. And then you'll probably want to play the other 2. But the first one's only about 11 hours long. So 10. Okay. I plucked that out of nowhere because I just Googled how long it was.
But, 29 hours long.
11 hours and 20 minutes long. But you'll love it.
So they've got a pedigree. Obviously, the fee. I mean, I didn't play the. Was it with a beta? Or was it just when it was shown at State of Play that people kicked off about it?
Well, because there were leaks before then, right? There's leaks of like screenshots showing like the battle pass and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So everyone was already sort of rolling I say everyone. I mean, nerds on the internet. Probably most normal people don't care. They're probably quite excited. But yeah. So it had already sort of gathered. Oh, sorry?
Chod in the stream has suggested that you in the chat has suggested that you do it as a stream. The Batman. Unfortunately, you got excited and said Batmat before saying it should be Matman. Clearly,
that's a shame.
I don't know. They're both good. Just call it Matt just to be sure.
Batman. Batman's not good. Batman.
Oh, that's a real shame.
I'm the Batman. Shall we get on to the next story?
Media Molecule have announced that they are going to cease live service support for Dreams on the 1st of September.
Okay.
Which
this is one of those things where James put in the chat, oh, that's really sad, and it is. But at the same time, you were the only one that liked it out of the four of us.
Yeah, played it.
Stopped playing it about a year and a half ago. So, it's a weird one, isn't it? I mean, obviously, people that got into that scene really enjoyed it, and but then you heard the complaints about most of the stuff is just trying to rip off other games and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean,
there's plenty of original stuff on there. It is one I would like if I got a PS5. I'll certainly reinstall it and just check because obviously the best stuff is now really well documented. So if you did just want to have like a quick tour around like the very best stuff that came out of it, that's relatively easy to do now. So I think that would be fun.
That's the thing though, Sean. Like they didn't make a PS5 version. Obviously, you can play the PS4 version on PS5, but like you'd think, you make a PS5 version, bring it up to that kind of like level of quality. Imagine there was like a Dreams for like PSVR 2, like molding and making a game using VR, like or making VR games using this. Like this could be something else entirely. But I mean, I've never really been into games where you kind of make this sort of stuff anyway. I've never, it's like fun to play, but I've never really been one for making my own stuff. But an incredibly impressive package of tools that they enabled young new game designers to go out and make some stuff, and I'm sure people have almost certainly got jobs based on the stuff they've done and learned and developed in Dreams. But it's a bit sad.
I'll never forget when I first saw someone. It was just like a video that's doing the rounds on Twitter back when it came out. They were saying like, I was doing this level and I wanted to like put a load of rocks everywhere in the environment, right? And he was like, and I was like, right, doing one and then sort of cloning it and then picking them up and moving them around. Then I was like, hang on a minute, I just made a bowl, spawned a load of rocks in it, and then just chucked them around like using the move controller, just like sprinkled them, just stuff like that. Like fuck, right. Like little things like that sort of broke through, even if you didn't really play the game. It's like fuck, that is really cool. But yeah, I mean, I suppose the more interesting thing here is like, well, they must be moving on to something else pretty big if they're
they said that they said that in their statement that they're working on whatever's next.
Non-Dreams related. Please be another Tearaway. Fucking love that game. So good.
I mean, that was really good.
The game isn't closing down; they're just stopping the live service aspect. But that's
So you can still everything that's up. I think you can still upload stuff as well, right? So it's still
it's
playable.
just I think new stuff isn't coming to it.
So they won't be curating it in the same way. They won't be doing because they do like the awards ceremonies and stuff, and
the MPs.
And they sort of track like what's going on in the community and then highlight some the good stuff. So that is all going to end.
Okay,
shame.
Is that it for the news?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on! I thought you were going to drop in a Bell's bullshit corner.
Was it Bell's bullshit corner?
Hang on.
I can't remember. No, that's
corner.
Genuinely it.
Cool. Okay, let's get to what you've been playing this week, and I want to start with Matthew Murray, who's been playing the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah, I mean not much because I was away also last week.
Okay.
But Yeah, I've just I got past the I've only played for like 2 hours, so I'm just about to the lake basically.
Yeah.
But I was kind of nervous about it because even when I played the demo, I kind of struggled and got killed loads just in that initial kind of village scene. But no, did this first time, I guess maybe I just got lucky or whatever. So I was like, okay, phew, I survived that initial fight in the village, and yeah, I'm loving it. It's great because I played it so long ago on a GameCube, but I basically remember next to nothing. So it's basically like a new game for me. There were a couple of bits I'm like, oh yeah, I think that location reminds me of the old game or feels familiar. But yeah, it's basically like an entire new game for me. And yeah, now I'm finding like the scenarios you get into, they feel more like mini puzzles than kind of combat scenarios. Really, I'm like, okay, well, I've got this many bullets. I'm going to like try and use the environment to my advantage. Blow up a thing here, do a roundhouse kick into a bunch of people to knock them away, or throw a grenade to kill like 5 or 6 enemies at once. So I'm really enjoying that aspect. And yeah, so far very, very early days, obviously, but I'm glad I finally got some time to probably play it, and I'm can't wait to get back to it. Really. Have you played much more, Sean?
Not since last week, no. But yeah, it's really fucking good, isn't it?
It's gonna.
Any reason for that, or you just haven't found the time?
Actually.
Oh, sorry, you both spoke at the same time. Sorry.
Was there any reason for that, Sean, or you just haven't found the time?
Yeah, just haven't. Well, just wanted to check out other stuff. And I won't talk about it yet, but I started playing Ghostwire Tokyo this week, which is not the same, but it's a bit spooky. So I did not need 2 spooky games on my plate this week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going back to Ready for
Is it
that.
really Ghostwire Tokyo as a spooky game? I thought it was action. I didn't know there's any spooky moments in it.
There's ghosts in it.
It's got ghosts and wires.
They are spooky.
They are spooky. Should I talk
Tokyo.
about it?
Yeah, go on.
I mean, that's all I played because I've been away, but yeah.
I watched the opening cutscene to that game and then got interrupted, so I didn't get to play it. But it was not the game I thought it was going to be. It was. It looked like it. Do you know what it
So what game is this? Ghostwire?
Yakuza. Yeah, it's like just that visual style and also the rather naff voice acting. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then when he's going, because he's got that thing in his face, and everyone goes, whoa, what's going on, man? And then running away. I was like, okay, what's this about?
Yeah. So Ghostwire Tokyo. This is not a new game, but it's so it was made by Tango Gameworks, so obviously part of Bethesda, bought by Microsoft. So this was originally PlayStation and PC exclusive, and then presumably that whatever that arrangement was ran out, and it is now out on the Xboxes and it is on Game Pass. It's so there'll be people listening to this who'll be like, I played it a year ago. Why are you talking about this like it's new? But deal with it. It is sort of spooky, not really. There's a few sort of jump scares and stuff, but it certainly, for the most part, it deals with the supernatural. The enemies are a bit creepy, I suppose. There's like sort of creepy sort of Slenderman type fellas with umbrellas, and then like schoolgirls with no heads, stuff like that. Typical, scary stuff. Yeah. But what I was surprised by is I didn't realize quite like how open world it is. I thought it was very much level to level, killing ghosts. I knew there was a bit of downtime, a bit of walking around, because I'd seen a lot of like just really nice screenshots. People just saying like it's quite nice actually, just walking around Tokyo and just taking pictures and stuff.
With all the headless.
With all the yeah. But it is actually
it's hard to get into open world now, isn't it? Do you remember like when open world games were few and far between, you could like fall in love with the map. And like now you look at it and you're just another map. It's massive.
But yeah, the story, I mean, is so far it's absolute bobbins. I mean,
really?
when it's one of those where it's like you barely understand what's going on, but I don't think you're supposed to. There's a man with a spooky mask who appears to be like harvesting souls from the center of Tokyo. I think it's in Shibuya. And you were a guy who was on a motorbike driving to the hospital to see your sister who's poorly. And then you had a crash. And then suddenly ghosts appeared and all the people vanished. And then a spirit inhabited your body because he thought you were dead. But then it turns out you weren't dead. You were just having a sleep on the ground next to you.
Tales as old as time.
Exactly. Yeah, standard
I'm sick of this.
boilerplate stuff.
Get a new story. Jesus Christ.
Regurgitate that one.
So you're alive again, and you've got this guy's like ghost powers, and he's got his own agenda. He's he
they always do.
I know, bloody ghosts. They're a nightmare. So he sort of initially he tries to like take control of your body, and you sort of resist, and you're like, no, I want to go see my sister in hospital. And again, standard stuff. So yeah, and basically you're going around Tokyo. It's all at night. Obviously, wouldn't be much of a ghost story if it was in the day. But crucially, everyone's gone, right? Everyone's been sort of magically whisked away. So you're walking around, and there'll be like piles of clothes on the floor where some people were stood, and then their bags and stuff. Like everyone's just been sort of magically vanished.
Spooky.
It is spooky.
So they've been taken away, but also naked.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, you know.
All right,
that is spooky.
It is spooky.
Unless they were outside laundrette, either the outside laundrette or they were like fully clothed, and then bang, they've gone. The clothes are still here.
What do you mean? Well, they dropped.
Either they were like carrying. Either they were carrying clothes anyway because they're near laundrette, and then when they got taken away, the laundrette clothes fell on the floor, or they got taken away so quick their clothes fell off.
Do you see any underwear? Their clothes fell. Well, I saw everything. I saw everything. Is there any underwear in that pile of clothes?
Not that I've looked. I mean,
we're going to handle that.
So you've looked. So no, Sean, you do admit you've looked.
No, I'm saying I've not gone looking for any underwear.
Well, as yet. Have you not looked?
But then it would be under the other clothes, right? If you were fully dressed and then your physical body disappeared, leaving only the clothes behind, your underpants wouldn't go like way and fly out, would they? No.
How many times do you wear jeans in a row?
What do you mean? Oh, how many days?
Yeah.
As in the same pair?
Yeah.
14, 15?
Because I'm just like wondering, have you ever had that situation where I've had this a couple of times where I've worn like the same jeans again the next day, and I've gone to pop my legs through the jean leg, and then I push. Once I get my foot all the way through, yesterday's sock pops out of it, and onto the floor. It's like those. Do you remember those rubber things you had in school where the rubber bit? It was like a rubber pen, and the rubber bit would get lost. So you would take it out and then put it in the top.
Oh, you
and
could like
a little bit of rubber down the bottom. It's like that, but with socks and jeans, basically for me. So that's all I was thinking of then.
When you were
talking about David, imagine that. But with 14 pairs.
Oh my god.
That's my life.
There you go. Just all out. Just firing them out like a...
So, you walk around Tokyo and you have fights with ghosts. It's kind of an FPS, but it's very like forgiving into like you're not really having to aim at stuff, right? You pull the left trigger and it'll just focus on whatever's nearest. Like it's really generous auto aim, and then you hit the right trigger and you throw some wind with your hand and hurt the ghosts.
Like Metroid Prime. But Prime is like that.
Actually, combat-wise, Metroid Prime's a good comparison.
Left trigger and right trigger.
And
cheers, mate.
That's all right. Thanks. Well done. I was really good when you brought up. I really like that. When you brought up
great reference.
Listeners, this is the conversation we'll have after the show.
Yeah.
David, listen, I just want to point out that.
Let's have a quick chat.
Well done for that.
Yeah,
really,
you
can have a good chat.
The show was really sort of. I was trying to explain about Ghostwire Tokyo. I was really fucking it up. I was really struggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as I say, initially it's a little bit guided. It's very much like, right, go here, go here, go here, go here. But then it opens up quite a bit. And now I'm sort of exploring, doing side missions. I'm finding spirits, doing little puzzly bits, little side stories and stuff. And it's pretty nice. Quite like it. It's a weirdly... for a game that is spooky, and some of the like set pieces and stuff are there's like jump scares and stuff which you can turn off, which I thought was interesting. So they're clearly they're clearly not married to it being a horror game, right? They're clearly just like sort of that's up to you, I guess.
But there's just a setting, and you go to it. It's just turn off jump scares.
It's I can't remember exactly how it phrases it, but it basically says like sort of enable this if you want to just like turn off the like more extreme horror elements or something. And from what I've seen, they're really not that extreme. It's like you're walking brilliant. Down a corridor, and then there's a loud noise, and the corridor's on fire, and then it isn't again. Ooh.
I wish I did that in PT.
Yeah,
walking around.
I like the idea of turning it off, and like if it's on, it's like bang, ghost. But if it's off, it's like, hey, you can't see me, but I'm about to appear. It'll be quite slow. I'm I'm in the background. I'm coming. You come to the right.
About to set on fire, but it's not real. Chill. It's fine.
Computer graphics. Do not worry about it. Just
it's all made up. I cannot stress that enough. It's all made up. Don't worry.
It's all fake, mate.
Walking up to an NPC and saying, the NPC saying, if you hadn't ticked that, I wouldn't have Ed. I wouldn't have Ed.
These are
blood everywhere and stuff. It'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Imagine if you turn it on and then just like then the credits just roll. So yeah, you did it. Well done. See, I know.
Yeah.
But the credits appear really suddenly.
But yeah, it's funny, like you say, Dave, because it does remind me of Yakuza. But obviously, that's me having never been to Tokyo and just being like, oh, it's the other game where I can wander around this sort of space, right? So it's it's an interesting one, but it's weird because like, do you remember when I got into Yakuza 0 finally? And it was during COVID, and it was this weird sort of surrogate, like, oh, this is what it was like to walk around a city at night and people are just out having a nice time, right?
Yeah.
Whereas obviously with this, everyone's fucking gone, so that doesn't really work the same way. Like it is. I
had that weird feeling when rewatching The Office, the TV show, because I was watching it. I was like, oh my god, there's a bunch of people working together there, and they don't care about how close they are.
Remember The Office?
Weird.
Yeah.
Do you remember going to an office?
Yeah.
Like.
Sometimes people do jokes and you go, haha.
Their biggest problem is where they're going on Friday night. My biggest problem is trying to avoid passing on a massive.
So that's Ghostwire Tokyo. I think I've done a really good job of explaining that.
Are you going to continue with it, or are you going to do what we all do sometimes and go, I've played it and spoken about it on the show, and that's it.
Paid my dues. Off it goes. Possibly, yes, but mainly because, as I say, I'd rather get back to Resi 4, right? And
right.
The paranormal site.
I still need to crack on with that. I did get it. I've got it on my phone, but the other game I've played, or another game I played, is Storyteller. So this is the one you might remember, like when trailers were coming out for it, got quite a bit of noise around it. So this is the one where each level, if you can call it that, is like at the very top of the screen there'll be a bit of text that will sort of summarize like a story, right? So it'll be like Queen has an affair and then marries the knight or something, right? Or it'll be like Duke takes revenge or something. It'd be like something really simple, like single sentence. And then you have like a series of panels in which you can place scenes and then characters. So depending on which...
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. So depending on which puzzle it is...
This sounds amazing.
It's really good, man. It is short, and it's been like people have been booting off on Steam and giving it shit reviews and stuff. So, I finished it in 2 hours. Yeah, so what? It's good. It's nice.
How much is it?
How much is it? Was it
£99?
£99. No, I think it's 14 quid.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like like I say,
12,
I think
49. I am buying this.
Oh, well, there you go.
On what Switch?
Yeah, it's on Switch.
No,
and
that's on
Steam. Yeah. But yeah, it's the way it escalates is perfect. I feel it ends when it needs to. Some of the reviews were like, "This is great," but I think it ends too soon. Like it still feels like it's got some way to go. I thought it ended at the right time. Whatever, your mileage may vary. It's what I really love about it is that it's not just about literally creating the chain of events that you're seeing the description for, right? It's the fact that it takes like the motivations into account. So if it's like, wife murders husband, you can't just go, oh, well, I'll make the wife pick up the gun and then do a scene where she's with her husband and she'll shoot him. It's like, no, because he's her husband, she doesn't want to shoot him. So you've got to engineer the reason for that to take place, whether it's an affair or...
So when you hit play or whatever, does it animate and then they say no? Or
so it doesn't animate. It literally, so as you're putting the scenes together, they're all on screen at the same time. So it never animates as such, but you see the way. So say later on in a a given scene or whatever, there's like two characters talking, and then say you edited an earlier panel so that one of them is dead. In that it'll then sort of rearrange everything so that in that later panel one of them's a ghost, right? Stuff like that.
Right, okay.
And yeah. So it sort of alters it's like you're fucking around with the timeline effectively. Yeah, I really fucking enjoyed it. I thought it was a really nice experience. As I say, people moaned about the length. I thought it was fine. I just found it really charming, just a really interesting form. Like for as a puzzle game. Yeah, loved it.
I'm 100% buying this. Yeah, it's £12.50 on the Switch. I'm buying this on Switch like tonight. I will play that. That looks right up my street.
Nice one.
Looks like a lot of good fun. Cheers. Oh, when did this come out? Like recently?
A couple of weeks ago, I think. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's going on the list. Going on the list.
Couple of relatively quick ones. Everspace 2 hit 1.0. This is one I talked about.
This has been around for a long time, right?
Yeah, so it entered early access 2 years ago. I think that was when I last talked about it. I never played the first one. I think the first one was a like story focused, like just mission after mission thing. Or was it a rogue? No, fuck, it was like a roguelike or something, I think. Whereas this is like there is a story, but it's open world and there's side quests and there's tons of RPG elements. You're a guy in a spaceship blowing stuff up, getting new kit, getting better at blowing stuff up, blowing more stuff up, getting more kit, etc., etc., but in a perfectly compelling way. I don't know if you remember, because when I last talked about it, the controls are strange in it, in that it's a space flight sim, but it controls more like a third-person shooter. You know, like most games where you're in control of like a plane or a ship or whatever, you expect like buttons for like throttle up and down and or whatever. Whereas this is very much like, no, the left stick moves you forwards and turns you, and then like strafes, and then the right stick turns you up, down, left, right.
Kind of like one of the best, most underrated N64 multiplayer games is Forsaken.
Yeah.
There's a 4-player space shoot 'em up that in its prime we thought this is almost as good as GoldenEye. Like we hammered Forsaken 4-player in N64.
Yeah. Well, is it? Yeah. So it's interesting.
We love that.
You should mention that because so you start out, you're in space, and there's like a couple of bits where like you might fly sort of into like derelict like spaceships and stuff, and it gets a bit sort of twisty turny. But then later on, you start going to planets, and you're going into like mines and stuff, and it reminded me a lot of Descent, which is a big influence on Forsaken. So yeah, I mean this is on PC Game Pass. I don't think it's on consoles yet, but I mean the original made it to console, so hopefully this will as well. Like definitely keep an eye out because I am really enjoying it. The story's pretty good as well. Having a really nice time with that. The last one, I finally played Population 1. Matt, have you ever had a go on this?
I might have had one go in the studio, but I'm not serious here. I know it's massive. It is ridiculously huge.
It's one of those that's gone free to play, but you know when you the vibe is like, oh, they've done this because it's just gonna keep fucking growing, not like, oh god, this is like a last sort of desperate throw of the dice to get people playing it.
Oh, like 100%. Yeah,
like it's absolutely huge. It's a battle royale shooter in VR. That's kind of it, but it's just incredibly slick. We put it on the other night. I said, I'd quite like to try this out, but like we'll probably end up playing Walkabout Mini Golf or whatever. But like really wouldn't mind giving this a go. We spent about 2 hours on this.
Nice.
It's just like it's the fact that like to look at, it's quite. I mean, realistic. I'm doing the air quotes because obviously it's on the Quest. It doesn't look amazing, but the setting is quite sort of matter of fact. The characters are all just people. like normal people, all the guns are sort of, you know, real life guns. But then it's like, okay, so if you run off a ledge and hold your arms out either side, you'll glide.
Yeah, so, that's really nice.
Yeah,
they do have some nice things in there.
Yeah, so you just like just running off buildings and then just and then just like gliding around. And like the climbing is like you can climb anything, and it's like totally fudged the way the climbing works, but in a really good way. Like there's zero, like, you know, like I was saying, with like Blade and Sorcery, when you're learning to climb in that, you've got to be like really careful with like how you place your hands, and like it's very sort of physicsy. Whereas Population 1's like, yeah, just stick your hand in the wall and then press the grab button and then just keep, so you can just like monkey your way up the walls like really quickly.
That's 100% the best way to do it. I mean, they've obviously done testing, but like, you know, so much of VR is like, hey, have I quite held it correctly or grabbed it in the right place? This is like sod it, just bang, 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 bang.
Exactly, and it's so much more fun because of it. And like, you know, there's been like little situations where like, you know, like we spotted a sniper at the top of a tower. So then yes, you just like, right, get onto like a nearby building, then like glide over, grab on the wall, climb all the way up, and then I'm like hanging on to like the top of this tower with one hand, pull out my gun, and then just sort of, you know, peek over and like shoot him in the back. Just little moments like that, which is like, God, this is fun. So yeah, it turns out I really like battle royale shooters now, guys.
Yeah, it turns out you're
you just need that. You just need to have it to be in VR, and you're away.
Yeah, I just needed silly climbing and gliding around.
It's weird because when Population 1 was first announced or shown, it was like, oh god, it's like they're trying to do battle royale in VR. It's not going to work. Like it's not going to be able to requesting to talk about like support. You know, 60 or 50 or 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 players. Like it's not going to work. It looks pretty bad as well at that point. But yes, it's absolutely huge now. And so they've obviously done great work in it, and they're always like adding new updates and new, you know, content packs and this and that. I'm sure they got seasons. They got all the standard kind of battle pass stuff as well. But, they've done a great job on it.
Like you say, it's at a glance, it's like, oh great, they've just literally done the most fucking obvious thing, but they've just done it really well, and it's really fun. Yeah, I had a lovely time on that. That is it.
I just don't know if I will ever get to the stage where I play a game like that and don't feel sick. Do you know what I mean?
You will.
I'm watching like videos of it, and you know, people getting on jump pads and all that sort of stuff, and I just think, God, will I ever be able to do that? Because that to me just looks horrific.
It is great. Like the way you drop in is you're all getting like a little pod, which then launches and then like sort of hovers over the map, and then you just have like a little like eject handle that you just pull, and then just fucking like farts you out, and then but then again like you like falling, and then you go woof, arms out, and then you're like gliding around. It's great. Really good fun.
Shit. Okay. So the only game left on our list is the game that I play. I wanted an Easter game basically, and there's been a few sales on, right? So one game that's always been at the back of my mind, and I think, oh, I should play this. Like, I love the look of it, and but it's always been like really expensive, and I was absolutely blown away that it wasn't on the PS Plus Premium Pass or whatever. But Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Now, this is a game that may have passed you by because it looked like a launch game. I don't think it come out at launch, but it was soon after the launch of the PS5. And it is it's a game from a new studio that had previously only worked on animation before, like not within that shows because Kenna Bridge of Spirits is a sort of semi-open world. It's more limited than a complete open world game, but it is, relatively speaking, you can go anywhere within that world. It feels a lot like, in terms of open worldness, it feels more like Fable. You know how Fable was like, there's a path from this area to this area. You can go off that beaten path a little bit, but you can't really, you know, go exploring through every, you know, tree and all this sort of stuff. It is very limited in terms of exploration, but it is a action game essentially. One about Kenna, where you play a young girl who is what they call it, a spirit, you know, the person from Spiritfarer. They call it a spirit guide. Yeah. So they're helping spirits get to the, you know, the next like the spirits that are hanging around because they got unfinished business. You're trying to sort that unfinished business for them before they pass on. And you come across a village that has been absolutely torn to pieces by this corruption and this, you know, horrible gunk of virus or whatever. And you learn about the history. Basically, the story's terrible, and the voice acting is even worse. The writing is not great. But my word, is it an amazing experience to play through. Like, the combat is genuinely brilliant. And you can see the limitations of clearly there's budget limitations here, right? Because this is a new studio trying a new project on new hardware. So you look at that and go, the investment must not have been easy to come by. And you can see where corners have been cut. So you look at some of the bosses in the game and you go, oh, you look very similar to the last couple of bosses I fought. And you look at the environments and you go, oh, it's all pretty much, this is a forest. Like, there's no wild changes to the environment. There's a couple of changes towards the end, but they're very short-lived and very limited. So, yeah, there's not much going on in terms of scope for this game. But I think it works in its favor because it's a 10 to 12-hour experience. It looks absolutely stunning. Like, I tried to send you a video of it in motion and it didn't work because, you know, WhatsApp absolutely ripped the fuck out of it. But when you look at it running at 60 frames with the art style they've chosen for this game, it looks absolutely beautiful. And then when you factor in, not only are the puzzles quite interesting, the various different things you could do, like the main source of combat is you've got a staff, right? And it's the usual, you've got a parry button, but it doesn't really focus on that. You don't need to parry too much. You've also got like as you progress through the game, you get a bow and arrow. You then get a bomb that you can chuck on things and then shoot with the bow and arrow. There's an upgrade system where you can slow time down, like as you can do with all these games. So like when you're pulling your arrow back, you click in a stick and it slows it down a little bit, so you can aim for what they call it? What they call the weak points on the bosses and the main enemies and stuff like that. It was just one of those games where you turn around and you go, do you know what? This is a 6 or 7 out of 10. But my word, am I enjoying it? And I think it's not to bang the drum, but I think that's what I was hoping to get out of Chia. That this is, I'm not expecting this to be a 9 or a 10. Like, don't get me wrong. But I you know, I've got it in my head. Look, I'm going to make allowances for its shortcomings, right? But there wasn't enough there to make me enjoy my time with it. So you know, whether you're arguing about whether it's a 6 or a 5 or a 7 or whatever, in terms of a review score, is kind of irrelevant because I can see with Kenneth Bridge of Spirits that there are things here that are just not great. You know, there's some of the animation when it comes to jumping. So, you know, it's got that thing where the character can be infinitely in that full animation where she's sort of like caught on a bit of scenery or whatever, and she's, you know, it's stuff like that you don't see in very heavily polished games. It's got that all there, so it's got shortcomings. And again, I don't really follow the story by the end of it because I was just like, this is so dull to listen to. The conversations they're having are so boring and they're not delivered in an interesting way. So that sort of all went by the by the wayside, but towards the end. But visually and in terms of gameplay, I fucking adored it, and I'm surprised that this went by without much fanfare. Like, because I am absolutely seeing what game they do next. Like the next game they announce, I'm hoping that suddenly there's, you know, I'm hoping there's enough interest in them as a studio. Ember Lab, they're called, the developers. I'm hoping that there's enough interest in them as a studio to get investment, and even if it's Kenneth Bridge of Spirits 2, I'm like, okay, I'm getting that, because, you know, hopefully there's enough to be improved on here. And turn what is actually a pretty good game into a fantastic one. They do this weird thing where they, you know how, and maybe this is because I'm still watching that Double Fine documentary, Sean. Like, I'm on episode like 20 now, right? So I'm, you know, in the home stretch essentially. But But maybe because I'm watching this all like over the long period of time, I'm trying to look things in games that not actually there.
Yeah.
But one of the things in this game is that you've got control of an increasingly the population of these little things that they call the rot. They look like little like berries basically that follow you about everywhere, and you collect them. The more you collect, the more follow you, and you do stuff with them. Like you can get them to lift things up. You turn them into like this weird dog thing that can go and unlock areas for you, and you control them and ask them to do things for you. It's one of those things that I thought, oh, this is where the idea started. And then as the game developed on, you realize that most of the stuff you wanted them to do wasn't possible with the budget and time restraints you had.
Yeah.
And actually they've become kind of meaningless, and everything they're doing can be done by Kenner, really, by picking stuff up and moving it. You don't need to send 10 of these things to go and pick it up and move it. Like you could have done that in another way, but it feels like that was the original idea, and then actually the game went off in a different direction, and they couldn't cut them completely. Because this is weird thing where it's like it makes a big deal about here's a currency, and if you go to a hat stand, you could buy them all little hats,
right?
And you're like, okay, and then you look around and they've got the hats on. You go, right, but why is it so prominent? Oh, possibly because the hat stand you could buy all sorts of other things from, like upgrade abilities or this, that, or the other, and that probably all got cut, right? That's just the feeling I get, and maybe I'm just overthinking it, but
little hats. Who doesn't like little hats?
It's really odd. Some of them you can only buy once. They're limited, Matt. They are
limited hats, even better.
There are limited hats. But I will say that this was the 6 out of 10 gorgeous game that I was looking for in Chia that I didn't get. And I just think this was £14 in the sale, and probably still is. And if you've not played it and you've got a PS5 and you're struggling with something to play before some of the big hitters come out later this month, then definitely give this a go. It's short, it's sweet, and it's really, really well done. Really well done.
There is some good news, is that by the time this podcast comes out, it has actually been added to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium.
Are you kidding? Really?
No, it comes out on the 18th, which is tomorrow as we record this.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's fantastic then. Yeah, give it a go. Definitely.
So middle and top tier, Extra and Premium, it's available, as well as Doom Eternal.
Well, I don't feel duped for paying 14 quid. Like I'm happy that they got some sales out of that, hopefully. But yeah, no, if you've got those tiers, man, go and play it, because if you've got nothing else to play, then this is a good time. And I cannot express how good it looks in places. Doesn't always look good. A game like this never does, but there are moments where you go, fuck me, this is mad. And no one really talks about it, but I think actually I think maybe people were put off because it looks so much like that. What was that fucking 360 game? The launch game for the 360.
Oh, Cameo.
Tip of my tongue. Cameo. It really gives off Cameo vibes initially. But it's more than that, I promise you. Or let me know what you think if you do play it. Is that all we've been playing this week?
That is all we've been playing
this week.
Let's get to some questions. Sean.
If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Foxy Moron says, when there's the inevitable full guest replacement show when none of you all can make it, out of Sarah Dyer, Sean LeBode, Ian Lee and Einel Tomlinson, who is the overly enthusiastic one? Sorry, Matt. The wanky indie game one? Sorry, Sean. The grumpy one? Sorry, James. The main one? Sorry, question mark, Dave. Keep up the
there we
work.
go. No need to apologise. You've got us all right there.
I don't know if any of them fit.
I don't know
those archetypes. Do they?
Matt's got an idea.
Well, I'm gonna say overly enthusiastic. Out of them four, I'm gonna say Einel.
Yeah, fair.
That's true.
I'll say wanky indie. I'm gonna say Sean LeBode.
Ah.
No, because I'm. But in the next two, it's difficult.
I like how you tried to defend yourself, but you went no, and the next two.
Well, look, I mean, like Sean last week, like mentioning that Make Your Maker. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it actually sounded really good, by the way. But
it did.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm really keen to start that.
Yeah,
Grumpy one's Ian,
but
right?
Then the next
Ian's
two.
not grumpy, is he?
Oh, you kidding? Well,
do I just not know him well enough?
I guess out of them two, I wouldn't class Sarah as grumpy, so maybe Ian grumpy and Sarah is the main one.
Sarah's the main one. Congratulations,
Sarah. He's texting
Sarah.
me now to say how angry it is of being chosen as the grumpy one. Just proving my point there. Listen, I mean, Foxy Moran, if you want to hear a replacement TCGS podcast, we've already done one on the bonus show. We did talk about it briefly on the main show. There's a podcast there where all of our other halves were on the show. Yeah. So Jill, Chen, Joe, and Nu was all taking our place, and it was quite. I need to listen back to that. I've not heard it back since the week it went out.
Yeah, we should probably do another one of them.
Do you reckon it's been long enough?
I don't know if Joe would do it again. You thought you want a month off?
No, but everyone said it was really good. So, you know, like, come on. Time for another one.
We said we were going to do one just for our families, right? Do you remember that? We said after that, let's do one with the kids, but just not release it. Just keep it to families or whatever, because who'd want to hear that seriously? It would just be, maybe that's on the cards at some point. I just want to hear, you know, Isaac shouting at Harry for having a different opinion about
that would be good,
Roblox or whatever.
And being silent for the whole thing.
Okay.
Oodles.
So basically, what I was working towards there, Foxy Moron, is patreon.com/TCGS. Please sign up. You can listen to that episode today.
Oodles says, "Hey up lads, long time no speak. I was recently persuaded to purchase Tears of the Kingdom solely from the last trailer. What games have you been on the fence with?" And then the final trailer drops and the wallet opens.
Speaking of this, I didn't watch this most recent trailer. I mean, I
watched it today. Don't worry about it. You can watch it.
Yeah, absolutely watch it, Matt.
Well, I was told it was mad spoilery, and I was like, okay,
who told you that?
Yeah, someone at work. Is it all kind of funny?
Well, it's got stuff from the game in it. Yeah, I don't know.
But does it talk about story stuff? Or just gameplay moments.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be much of a story.
I don't know how they could have done a less spoilery trailer after watching it this morning. It's fine. They show a couple of enemies in it, but they just look like normal bog standard enemies.
Okay, I wasn't sure if this will be the one where it's like, hey, this is actually what the story is, because it's kind of been a bit mysterious, which I've liked, and I kind of wanted to go in with the mystery. But if
I still don't know if is it set after or before.
Well, I don't think we officially know.
No, it's after. No, because the order is like the one they re-released, then Breath of the Wild, then this, then I'm sure they've always talked about the timeline. You know, like the one I tried to play, but I couldn't with all the waggle.
Oh, Skyward Sword.
Oh, that's part of the same thing, is it?
Yeah, it's part of the saga.
Yeah, I think this because they were saying like, this is why they've sort of re-released Skyward Sword, even though not that many people liked it.
Everyone's got a saga now, haven't they? It's always a saga or a universe or whatever. Could it just be a game now, please?
That's Marvel for you. They've fucked it for everyone.
Absolutely fucked it for
but
everyone.
so I haven't seen it, but maybe I should watch it.
Mate, watch it as loud as you possibly can. It's fucking amazing. It's such a good trailer.
I heard lots of people saying it was incredible.
Like even if it did spoil stuff, like it's worth the trade-off because you'll be so fucking excited for the next month.
But I'm pumped anyway with just even the last direct where they showed you all the different abilities. I was like, okay, I didn't want to see that. I buckled and I did. I'm glad I did. But I was like, that was a perfect direct. It was just showing the abilities, no story.
So,
I want to go in fresh.
I would argue that this trailer spoils less than that 10-minute, like, here's the new mechanics.
Oh, yeah, 120%. I mean, there's nothing spoilery in that.
Well,
threw an extra 20 in, Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell, David. Warn us before you do that.
I would watch that trailer. I can't think of another game that I've thought, no, I'm not buying that, and then watched the trailer and gone for it.
No, me neither.
There's nothing that sticks out in my head
Well, no, for me, that's every trailer, because often I'm like, what? No, because I'm like, what is this game? Trailer's good, I buy it. Like, that's what trailers are there for, right? I mean,
it is. I suppose the point being made was, like, how often has a trailer actually like completely turned you around? Yeah. Like, have you ever gone from being totally ambivalent to like, oh shit, I actually need this? Yeah, like, usually when you enjoy a trailer and you go and buy something, it's like something you knew you were probably going to like anyway.
Yeah, I was already on the way. Yeah.
So would you say that you're more likely to trailer just like that doesn't actually convince you to go and buy the game then?
Yeah, trailers are usually just like a confirmation of what I already thought. Do you know what I mean?
And is that the same for you, Matt?
I don't know. I mean, well, I guess in today's modern age, we just know so much about games that before trailers, unless it's like a surprise. I'm like, holy shit. So you either have no preconceived idea, trailer comes, you're blown away, or you're surprised, you're like, holy shit, I'm there. Or you're like anticipating it anyway, and you've already got you've already known your heart whether you're going to buy it or not buy it.
Yeah, you sort of know, don't you? Yeah, head of marketing, Matt Murray there. Trailers don't matter.
That's not true. They're really powerful. They're really powerful, actually.
Here we go. I love the fact that I tee these up. Just setting up, throwing a ball up now, knocking it out of the park. Right. Okay.
They're basically the most important part of the marketing, piece. So yeah, they're great. They're great.
Okay.
Major Hazard.
No, I can't think of an example, but good question.
Major Hazard says, recently started dating a lady who is willing to give gaming a try. Not common in my age bracket of 50-something years. We played It Takes Two last week. It was fun, but the controls were a bit fiddly for a beginner. Are there any other games you'd recommend for couples?
They are fiddly. It's funny, isn't it? It's like I look at it. So obviously, I've mentioned on the show a number of times, Jo has no interest in playing video games. She's got zero interest in it at all. Completely understandable as well, because she's just not into it, and I don't want to be the one that goes,
games are shit.
No, come on, come on, what are you doing? And It Takes Two. I was thinking that, like, if I put Jo in front of It Takes Two, it's 2 seconds. Sorry, the controls with the camera does what? No, forget it. Here's my advice: don't necessarily look for multiplayer games. Yeah. I would say a good shout would be As Dusk Falls. Would be
I was about to say that 100%.
If you like your horror stuff, Until Dawn is another good one to look at. I would say Life is Strange, but that's you'll know.
That's for us young'uns, mate.
It's just more that I think you've really got to be confident that they'll be invested in that story before you go ahead with that. I mean, it's a tough sell, isn't it?
Well, it's a tough sell, but it knows itself, and it's more like, hey, like, it's not like a co-op game where you're playing together, but it's good enough whereby, regardless of how au fait you are with gaming, you might want to give it a go, or you might just be there to make the decisions and to watch the drama unfold. So
yeah, no, totally. But I was just saying the themes and the approach that game takes is not like, say, As Dusk Falls, which is very much, oh no, if you want like thrillers, or if you like that sort of high intensity action stuff, then you'll be into that. Like, you'll be into that as a non-gamer, or if you're trying to get into gaming or whatever. And as a co-op experience, that's brilliant, right? Because you're going to be like, what should we do? What should we do here? What's the decision? What would you do? Okay, let's do that. That's brilliant. Whereas, like, some of the stuff in Life is Strange, you'll be like, why are we looking through this? What are we doing now?
Yeah, why are we looking at
it? And I kind of like, so I think that's kind of a harder sell. And with Until Dawn, because you're not investing in the characters, you're finding ways to completely fuck them all over. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more interest in that as well, because we've all seen shit horror films, which is what that game sort of has a take on. So I would say that, but if you're more after a gameplay based thing, then I mean, the game we've been playing, Matt, the puzzle game we played would be a very good
we were here forever.
Yeah,
slow paced, so you're not looking for lightning fast reactions, which, as we all know, that's what you don't want to do is play a game where you're trying to like Halo multiplayer, like anything like that. Yeah. It's what's the point? Because when you're new to gaming, it's hard enough as it is trying to work out what the buttons do, let alone getting reaction times down. Whereas like a slow puzzle game like that is perfect, right?
I was gonna say, like The Witness. Like New and I sat down and played through loads of that. Obviously, I was playing, but she was like, we were both just like drawing stuff and like trying to figure out the puzzles and stuff. Like that was a really good time.
You could say the Walking Dead series.
Yeah.
Civ 6, Valorant, World of Warcraft, all of them.
yeah, all of those.
Just looking at the Game Pass.
Company of Heroes. I'm just thinking of complicated games.
God, imagine she did get bang into World of Warcraft. EVE Online, yeah. Does she like finance?
Again, though. Well, yeah. I just keep turning my head to Joe and just thinking she would play none of this. I think the closest she'd come to playing a game would be something like Until Dawn, but she just not Until Dawn, from As Dusk Falls.
Yeah,
and she's got no interest to actually sit and do it. That's the problem. She'd rather just watch a film or whatever.
Dota 2, good shout.
Yeah,
League of Legends.
Yep, Steel Battalion.
Yes,
she could control the legs.
She could.
Conky Donker says, I'm currently sat in the airport on my way home from my holiday. Got put on standby, then had my seat cancelled, and then had to quickly book a completely different ticket to get home later this evening. When I hopefully take off, I'll have been in this airport almost 12 hours. What's your worst travel story?
That's like the Tom Hanks guy, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Terminal.
He was in there for a long time too, wasn't he?
He was. He made a film about it.
Yeah, well, that's why he's on an island, isn't it? And he starts talking about football.
Yeah. And then he turns into a grown man.
It's called Big... No. It's called Big Terminal. No.
I think I've been lucky with this stuff. Like the travel stuff.
Same. I've never... Yeah.
The worst was the Sheffield one, I think. Getting the mega bus up and it breaking down halfway.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And it took like 7 hours when it was supposed to take 3 or something. And then on the way back, it took the 3 hours that it said it would, but there was just no air conditioning on the bus. So it just felt like
which was worse?
I've told
the worst was the way up there. That done my nuts in. That was just so, especially when we got dropped off at like 2 different service stations. And we were standing around, and the guy.
What's wrong with that? Who doesn't have a service station?
Yeah, man.
Because we weren't supposed to be at any of them.
Fry up in.
There was no chance. No, we wanted to go and have like a McDonald's or something. He was like, "No, don't go here because the coach is coming."
Pay 19 quid for a moto breakfast. It
was just, and then the nuns come off, and then that guy come over and started talking to us, and I was just like, "I don't want to talk to you, mate."
That's James Farley.
Yeah, exactly.
Some respect.
Have enough of him.
I've talked about when I went to France with this college trip, haven't I? Lost my wallet.
No, but it sounds great. Strap in.
Go on.
So, it was literally like taking a bus.
People died
to France. We went to Futuroscope, which is supposed to be like a theme.
What the fuck is that?
It's supposed to be like a fucking theme park, but it's all like tech stuff, right? So
it's a sequel to Silence.
But it was shit like, it's a cinema, but it's made up of like 300 fucking CRT tellies.
Oh, you have mentioned this,
yeah. It's bloody awful. Anyway, and on the way there, because so we were just on a coach the entire time. And then at one point, it was like 4 a.m, but it was like, we've stopped at some services. Everyone get out, stretch your legs, have a piss. And and then we were sort of on the forecourt, and then someone was like, "Oh shit! Apparently the bus is leaving." So we all sprinted over, got on the bus. About 2 hours later, arrived in Paris. Right, you're in Paris. It's 6 a.m. Get out, enjoy yourselves. And I couldn't because I couldn't find my wallet. So I figured I must have dropped it at the service station when we legged it to the bus. And I just had to spend the rest of the trip with initially with no money, and then like some of the teachers had a whip round and was like, "Look, here's 40 quid. Sorry, can't really do anything else." Yeah, it's
and I can
fucking
see
awesome.
why you're striking.
This is amazing, right? So I'm on the Futuroscope website.
And on the website, does it have a banner I'm mentioning Sean's wallet?
No, it doesn't.
If a wallet is found.
Child?
The first thing I could see on the website is information. Destination Mars is closed. And then I went to the
Someone tell Elon Musk.
And it's got one that says The Time Machine. You'll discover the best of the Raving Rabbit's demented jokes this totally bonkers version of world history.
Oh my god. I mean, Rabbids hadn't been conceived when I went. That's how long ago this was.
Conceived?
Oh, wow. That's really aging you.
Yes, that was absolutely awful. Hated it.
Yeah, that sounds rough. Who did you go with? You might have said that.
Just with college. It was just because it was like, because I was a nerd, obviously. It was like, oh, yeah, college is doing a trip to this like cool futuristic place in France. You'll have to spend like 18 hours on a bus. It'll be great. And that was it. It was one of those where like we'd all sort of talked about it and we're like, well, let's all go because even if it's shit, we'll have a laugh. Do you know what I mean? We'll make it work. And then on like the day that we had to bring the money in, all my mates were like, "Oh fuck, I forgot." And I was like, "Well, classic. I've already given mine in, so I'm going apparently." So yeah, I mean, I've made other friends, but it was
I'll
just
tell you one thing: I would not be losing my wallet on this trip.
Absolutely not.
I can promise you that, mate.
Yeah.
To get there, you have to drive past Disneyland.
Here's what you could have won.
Wow. Okay.
Dreadful time.
Yeah.
I mean,
after you talked about my trip to Disneyland, sign up.
A lot about that. Now I'm thinking, Futuroscope. I'm thinking family trip.
For TCGS Con?
I'm thinking LD, David. David obviously his family went to Disneyland recently. I know, it sounds amazing, but I'll tell you what, old Dad's cooking up something a little bit better than Disneyland. We're going to Futuroscope.
Futuroscope. Oh my god, we could totally do a TCGS Con here. I think it's probably on our level.
I don't think they've got much else on.
Well, they've got half the 4D adventure.
Not heard about the Raving Rabbits.
Pipe down.
Oh god, I need to read reviews.
They've got an upside down house. We're going.
Oh my god,
have they really got
wild. If you think about it, you wouldn't be able to use the cooker or anything, would you? It'd be mental.
Yeah, or the PA. We're on the roof. I know, whatever.
Imagine trying to use the toaster; it just keeps coming out. You have to hold your hand.
Oh my, that'd be wild. I actually can't imagine that. I actually can't.
It will be like that John Cusack movie where instead of holding the ghetto blaster outside a person's house, he's
it'd be like Inception, Matt. That's what it'd be like.
Yes. Toastception.
Oh god. Oh mate, do you remember much about the actual football? Like, what was the best thing there?
The best
Sean
thing
lost
was
his wallet, David. He didn't know anything.
The best thing was that there was an arcade there, and on one of the evenings, they just said, "Oh, we've put everything on free play. Didn't need any money for that."
Wow, that is good.
That was good.
Yeah, but was it all in French though?
I don't remember, to be honest. I assume not.
I got to say, a little bit of a spoiler.
Didn't know what the story was to Virtua Cop. So I got
a little bit of a spoiler, but my brother-in-law went on we all went on the Space Tours ride in Disneyland Paris, which is the Star Wars thing. It's like you're in a simulation thing, 3D glasses, looks incredible, right? There was a bit in it where Yoda comes out and talks directly to you, right? And my brother-in-law said afterwards, like, I know, right? But I'm like a massive Star Wars fan, and Yoda just came over to me, and I couldn't understand a fucking word he said because it was in French. And I was like, yeah, that's been a running theme, isn't it?
I was going to do some French then, yeah. Oh, man.
It was like a real poignant moment where he walks out of the screen and talks directly to you. Oh, for fuck's sake.
You should have got your phone out. Google Translate. Sorry, Yoda, can you just say that again into the...
You can't do that on that ride. You're not allowed to touch your phone.
Really?
It stops and the screen turns off and they chuck you out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Weird. Probably going to get arrested just for describing it.
Honestly, before I went there, I didn't realise I've got so much to talk to you about on the bonus show this week because it's weirder than you think it is, that place. Like, honestly, it's fucking bizarre. Right. Was that it? We answered? What was the question?
Worst travel story.
I think we answered that. Yeah. Tick.
But Matt, have you not got one?
Well, only that when I was driving from when I was being driven to university from Bognor Regis all the way up to Teesside, pretty much every time we did, there was always a massive incident where it would be like a 15-hour journey or 16-hour journey.
Oh god,
that was always great. I mean, we got used to it by the end, but it got to a point where they were so bad. You get out the car, you would just walk alongside the car for a bit. It was like that's how much traffic were in these bad times.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember when at that time I was coming up to yours for the weekend with James Farley?
Yeah,
and we were like, we'll be there about 1 o'clock, and I think it was about 10 o'clock we arrived.
It was 1 a.m.
It's just awful. Yeah, there's nothing worse than that. Nothing worse.
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS, Cody and May learn that it takes two." Sony seems to be rekindling interest in a dedicated handheld device.
Is Cody a boy's name or a girl's name?
Could be either, right?
Boy.
It's neutral.
Okay, interesting. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is neutral, but in this case, boy.
Okay, all right, interesting.
Sony seems to be rekindling interest in a dedicated handheld device, but bulkier consoles have also been traveller-friendly, such as the GameCube and its handle that let you take it around anywhere. What would you suggest could be altered about the design of the current home consoles to make them much more portable?
Fucking hell. I mean,
where do we start with the PS5?
Are we including PS5?
A forklift truck might help.
You have to
you know what I mean?
Convert the rest of the planet first.
Yeah, just put a strap either side of the PS5 so you can put it on your fucking back like a backpack. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing you could possibly do.
Imagine you fucking bash someone with it by accident, you turn around and you have their eye out.
Yeah. Oh, like how you put little wheels on the corner of the Xbox Series X, just little tiny wheels like that, so you can just like move the entire
string around it and just walk it like a dog.
How good would that be?
Yeah, it's like those luggage things you get for kids where they've got wheels and you can pull them, in the airport.
I'm thinking, totally, because Harry was wheeling one of those around this week, and I was just like, oh my god, doing that with an Xbox.
Elle's got one.
Yes, please. Yes, but the PS5, I've got that. I mean, you could probably use it as a surfboard.
Yeah.
At least one of the flaps. Take one of the flaps off.
Or snowboard.
That is not a good idea, my friend. Don't.
I wouldn't lose that one.
Which is cheaper, a real snowboard or a PS5? How much is that? Snowboard?
PS5, surely. How much is a snowboard?
Well, I mean, you can get cheap snowboards. So
right, let's have a look.
Go to Decathlon and get you one for 20 quid.
Just going snowboard and go. You can get one for 300 quid, 250 quid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, I'm wrong. £189.
I mean, obviously there are other costs associated with snowboarding.
Yeah,
I bought a board now. That's it. I'm off.
And emotional costs, Sean.
Yeah, there's other costs associated with the PS5 as well. Fucking £70 a game.
That's true.
I'm gonna laugh.
I'll tell you one thing, right? So when on holiday, I won a PS5 controller. I put it on Twitter. I won one of those crane machines, right?
Yeah.
Like I
just bought one of those.
What?
I just bought one of those, that exact same colour.
Really?
Yeah.
Like it didn't come with like a USB-C cable. Like
really?
I just kind of expected
cheap fuckers.
Yeah, I just expected them to do that. I guess they don't. Like they not do that anymore. Right. They just.
I've got some questions.
I got one with the console, but like I thought I got this bloody pad, and I've got a cable. Obviously, don't worry about that. But like, why don't these pads come with the cable anymore?
Yeah, no, that's really bad actually. They will say environment, but
they will say that, won't they?
That is not
cutting costs.
Matt, I've got so many questions about that, right? Because that's amazing. So you won a PS5 controller on the Keymaster, the Sega Keymasters. They're famous. You would have seen them if you've been in an arcade recently. You would have seen them. It's the one where you position the key into sort of a keyhole, and they're exactly the same as crane machines. They're rigged, so if they will slightly move if they're not ready to pay out. I never play on them because the prizes on them are worth say 60 quid, which means you're looking at it has to have at least £100 in it, I reckon, before it even thinks about paying out.
I know where you're going with this.
Easy. No, firstly, that's my first question. how much did you put into it? And there's no judgment because you've got fucking £60.
No, honestly, in terms of tokens, that's probably like a tenner.
Really? So you got so you really come out well from it.
Yeah. I mean,
no, go on.
No, I mean, I tried to win this pad. There also had like an Echo Dot in there, which I tried a few times, didn't win it. And then Elodie was like, oh, well, I also want that kind of, you know, those pop things, which cost like £2 in the entertainment. Mate, I'm trying to win a £70 controller, and I can buy you a £2 pop thing wherever we go.
Right.
Good times.
So, how far into it did you play any more after that, or were you just?
Because I wanted to win. After winning one, I was like, I want to go for the Echo Dot now. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
But you do know that would never happen. Like,
I mean, after that, I realized, I put like another, a few tokens. It was basically like one token for 3 goes. So yeah.
Right, okay. It's not token; it's money, Matt. There's money.
Well,
don't try.
I put a token.
Don't try and separate it.
It's just I just spent tokens on hard. I didn't spend any money at all.
Right. Okay. So you position the thing, the key. It goes in. What are you? I bet your heart is going insane when you see it go through that hole, right?
Yeah. Also, so I was also fully expecting it to not work. So I didn't even get excited like when it happened because I was like, okay, is it, because so often these things it gets so close. Oh, I didn't quite do it, and even when it like it went up and it went like through, and then someone was, I mean, Jill's like, you've won, and I was like, wait, I thought, you do it 3 times, you might get 100 tokens for a pad. I was like, it's not actually going to give me a PS5 pad in this machine. So I was blown away when it actually worked.
So it comes out and it's just an empty box, right?
Oh no.
What?
Empty box? No, it's like it was the pad in the box.
Okay, that's weird. Right, arcades don't do that. They don't do that.
They're not.
That's really odd. No, usually you get an empty box with like a barcode in it. You take it to the prize bit and they'll scan it because A, they don't want it dropping and smashing a £60 pad if they're putting a £60 pad in.
Yeah, I did think that was weird. I was like, hang on.
Yeah. And B, they don't want anyone cracking open the case and just fucking taking the £60 pad out. So that is really odd.
Well, I mean, it's Centre Park, so there wasn't like it was just like a mini arcade.
Class of
what does that mean?
Punter, yeah.
What does that mean?
It means it wasn't a proper arcade. It wasn't like someone. It wasn't someone manning the arcade. It was basically like a few machines.
Is that a dig at me buttons?
I've been about this with you. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, but anyway, we've not done it for a while because
what I'm saying is there's no scum. There's no scum in and around the place, and so it's just hoity-toity like. There's no staff. It's just basically like a few machines and.
Oh my god! I've got to tell you who the people were in Mars Singer when we went to Berlin's as well.
Yes, I want to hear that.
Yeah. Much we need to talk about. Anyway,
where were we?
So you take it out and it's in there.
Yes.
Like, what do you not want to? Because I would have loved to have rocked up to the prize thing and gone, "Want a PS5 pad, mate?" Do you know what I mean?
There isn't a prize
you just
thing.
Want to hold it up and go, "Me, look what I've done."
No, so there was no prize thing. It's just like a tiny little like house of games, they call it, a mini one in the sports plaza where all the sporty things are, and next to the bar. And all there was basically me, and a bunch of kids in there. And one of them like, "Oh, you seriously won that?" And then I was still kind of in shock. So I think Elodie or Jill's like, "Yeah, he won." But I didn't open the box till I got home, and I just put it in. I just felt, if I felt something in it, I put it in my bag and then we walked back. But when I was opening the box, I was like, this might be empty. But thankfully, there was something inside it. Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing if you took home that empty thing with the barcode in it? That you had
maybe part of me,
oh my god!
Maybe part of me didn't open it because I was worried it would be empty, or it wouldn't be a controller, or it wouldn't work, or whatever.
Yeah, you open it up and it's like a 4Gamers one or something.
Yeah, I fully expected that. I was like, it's not actually going to be a PS5 pad. Come on.
But Matt, so you didn't realise that traditionally they're not in there, and you have to take it somewhere to claim the prize.
No.
So now knowing that, do you know how close you were to just literally taking home an empty box?
No. I mean, when I say home, I mean like the cabin on site. I don't mean like home, Leeds home. I mean like
right. Oh, right. Okay.
I opened it on site at that cabin.
Plus, you'd know from the fucking heft of it.
Yeah, but they could have put anything in there.
Little bag of sand.
Yeah. Like those people that try and sell speakers at the service stations. I love those stories. Right. Okay. What was the question?
I hope that answers your
console's more portable. I think we've
we got that. Wheels on an Xbox, straps on a PS5.
Done.
Yeah, we got that.
Let's make this the last one. Nathan says you're stuck in a lift with an animal and it farts. What would the worst animal be to get stuck with?
Whale.
Elephant.
Spider.
Yeah, but
you wouldn't hear it.
No, I don't care about the
fart. Is immaterial. It's the fact that it's a spider.
I don't care. I'd rather be.
I was focusing on the fart.
A whale fart.
Yeah, because it'd be so bad to be stuck in a lift with a whale because you'll be crushed to death, and the fart will probably destroy you.
I mean, how big is
a spider? You're not gonna hear it you're not gonna hear that in the corner, are you?
Yeah, but you're missing my point of the joke there, Matt. I don't care about the fart.
That was a joke.
Okay, how do you get a whale in a lift? You can't, so that doesn't work.
No, you call me that.
We're living in fantasy land.
It's a rubbish
It doesn't have to
punchline.
be practical.
But doesn't that add an edge to it, Sean? They've got to be able to fit in a lift in the first place.
Okay.
No, it'd be a hippo.
Seriously,
I reckon a hippo has the worst farts.
Yeah. What do hippos eat? What do they eat?
Shit.
Grass.
Eat shit all day. They eat
Mackies.
curry. They're constantly eating curry and beef.
They love it, Greg's.
Weatherspoon's burgers.
I'm wondering if animals with a more meat-based diet do worse farts. Feels like that's probably a thing.
Tiger.
Yeah, I mean,
this should be a stream, Sean.
What animal has the worst farts? Do we Google that?
Well, I was thinking a skunk obviously would smell bad anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but that's only when they feel threatened. Are you going to threaten a skunk in a lift?
Yeah, you have to pull a knife on it.
If it's just me and a skunk in left, it's going to feel threatened, David.
Well, when it sees your muscles.
And my PS5 pad.
Sea lion.
No, they won't be because it's an empty box with a barcode.
I proved it wasn't.
Oh, here we go. Oh, cheetahs, because they're meat eaters, but all the gazelles and impalas they eat increase fermentation levels in their guts, making their farts extra smelly.
Also, they'd be running around so fast in that lift. You would barely see them.
That's from the South China Morning Post, which is where I go for all my animal facts.
Well, I've got an idea. Yeah. Hey, how many animals will say humans? Ever thought about that?
You
ever thought about that?
Deep, very
Hey,
deep.
you asking us that question?
Are we the animals?
Bloody hell.
Aren't we the worst farters? Have you ever thought of it like
way.
that?
David, I'm surprised you didn't say giraffe. They can probably get their big old neck in a lift, couldn't they?
Yeah,
they can put the neck through the emergency hatch at the top.
Their farts smell fucking glorious because they're the...
No, the trouble is, sure, I mean, I don't know what the height of a zebra is, but sure that feels like that fart will be at eye level.
That's true. It'll be right in your
or maybe
face.
Yeah,
you're having a fucking laugh, Matt, aren't you?
I'm having a giraffe. Yeah. Okay, so
what are you talking? No, you're saying what is the eye level? A giraffe.
I mean, the anus.
He said zebra. The zebra's ass to be face level. He's saying.
No, not zebra.
Zebra's ass.
I thought you said zebra.
Giraffe.
Didn't you say zebra?
Giraffe.
Oh, Christ, sorry.
He did say zebra, Sean. He did.
Did I?
He said zebra at one point.
It's actually quite hot in here, and it's not even summer.
Do you know animals, Matt? Do you know what animals?
Yeah, I love cats.
You love
Can I say zebra?
That's a good point, actually. Dog farts are terrible.
Fucking Looper, our new puppy, who's lovely and great fun, keeps relentlessly doing the most horrible fucking farts.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which it doesn't
my
have
answer is Looper,
risk
Sean's
of shitting
dog.
on the floor as well. Yeah,
my answer is Sean's dog, Looper.
Yeah.
What was that for, Matt?
Well,
Sean mentioned like you're attacking little Looper there.
He's upstairs asleep. He's not even here to defend himself.
You just slagged his farts off on the podcast.
Well, he's my dog. I'm allowed.
Okay.
Yeah. I can say London's
Sean.
a bit shit.
Yeah.
But you can't.
No.
Okay, I retract that.
Right.
I'm gonna go back to zebra.
He's only a puppy. He doesn't understand.
Okay, Looper's shitty fart.
Okay, is that it for questions? I think it probably... James is going to be so angry about this show, isn't he?
Yeah, there is one more question, but it's about Smash Brothers. I don't think any of us have anything to offer.
Oh, no, read it out because I fucking prepared for this.
Oh, did you? All right, go on then. Joanna Sparks.
Homework.
Sorry, Joanna. I mean, it sounds like I've mugged you off and now I'm being forced to read this out.
So sorry, Joanna.
Hello, TCGS crew. I love your show. I've been listening to you since the episode in which James's daughter erased his Animal Crossing save file on the 3DS. I finally found the courage to write in, and I nearly just jibbed this off.
Oh my god! And Sean mugged you off, Joanna.
I finally found the courage to write in and ask a make or break question.
Sure, Bell.
What is your stance on the tripping mechanic in the Smash Brothers franchise?
Right. Firstly, I would like to say you've reminded me of a story about. Do you remember when Harry deleted my Mario save, my Mario Odyssey save, all of my Mario? Charlie did it to him.
No way!
Come on, Charlie did it to him.
Yeah. Like to piss him off, or just by accident?
Probably just by accident, but also almost definitely to piss him off. He come up to me all steamy-eyed and said, "Charlie's deleted my Mario save," and I went, "All right, how do you feel?" It was sad. That's what you did to me. So no sympathy from your dad. I mean, I gave Charlie a high five.
Circle of life.
Amazing.
Yeah. So do you know what the tripping mechanic is in Smash?
I mean, vaguely.
I should do. The whole school just obsessed with this game, but no, I don't.
It's utterly bizarre, and when you look into it, I don't understand. Smash is the weirdest fucking game, man. When you look at how people trying to play it competitively, but at the same time, to do so, you have to ban like half of the game and characters. It's such a weird game to get obsessed about. But there's a tripping mechanic for those of people that don't know. It's a random effect of hitting someone. So three things can happen to you when you're hit, is my understanding. I'm not a Smash Bros fan, right? So if I say anything wrong here, I do apologize. It was based on the one video that I saw. But three things can happen when you get hit. One can be that you're just pushed back. Another can be that you fall flat on the floor, and the other one's a trip mechanic where you sort of go down on your knee to, like, instead of falling. If you go on your floor, when you get back up, you're invincible for a number of frames, right? So you can roll away, you can roll towards and get behind the opponent or whatever. If you get pushed back, you just get pushed back. A trip mechanic is the same as laying flat, but you don't have that invincibility. So someone could just trip you up and then just completely take advantage of that situation, right? Like by getting you in a massive hole move or whatever. If they're quick enough to spot it, and usually you're quick enough to spot it. But it doesn't happen every time, so it's not consistent. It can happen like 9% of the time of being hit by certain moves or whatever. And there was this thing. I just watched an explanation of what the trip mechanic was. And then I watched a series of videos where people were, the ice climbers in that game. Yeah. There's a move in that you could do it forever. It's like a hold punch move or whatever. Right. So all you need to do is make someone trip as the ice climbers, and then you can just grab them in this hold move and just completely ruin them. And I've seen so many videos today of like competitive Smash Brothers where someone would use that move and the other player would just put their pad down and sit and watch their player get completely destroyed until they're off of the screen. And I just think, I will never understand how people try and make this a competitive game. It's so bizarre to me that this is competitive.
That is brilliant.
Thanks for sending the message in, because I looked it up today and then watched loads of Rage Quit videos and laughed my arse off all afternoon. And I apologise for Sean trying to mug you off after you found the confidence.
Yeah, I think from everyone at TCGS.co, we apologise on.
Sorry, Joanna.
Because obviously I'm the villain.
His views do not represent the
business. Is that it? We done?
Yeah.
Let's do the socials, Matt.
It's a quick one this week because there's no streams, no James, and I assume you, Sean Bell, are not streaming.
I'm not streaming. I am. There's something I want to stream, but I need some money first. So I'll do it next month when the Patreon money comes in.
We got to do our one, Matt.
Oh yeah, no, I can't do it Friday, but I do definitely want to do more. What We Will Live Forever, because that was great fun.
Matt's out on Friday, Dave.
Yeah, he's out on Friday. Look at him.
Busy.
Maybe Thursday. So I don't know. We'll talk about it. But we've got to do it because I want to play that game again. I want to play that game.
No streams, but you can still go to Twitch and search for TCGS Co. and find our channel, subscribe. If you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime, connect your account, you get a free sub, of course, or follow our channel for our future streams. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS, where this week, hopefully, we're going to record the bonus show for April. It's going to be a lot of David Turner's insights into Disneyland and maybe some stories from Center Parks.
And about my bladder.
We've also
got that.
Oh, yeah, and Sean's bladder.
Some top quality pelvic floor chat coming your way.
I don't know, but you know, mate, you know I'm all about the pelvic floor. You know I'm all about that. I do Pilates, man. I've been working on my core for a year now.
Ooh,
yeah,
circular
actually bulletproof now. You can't kill him.
That's pretty strong. It's a pretty strong core at this point.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, more news on that on the bonus show. And the website is tcgs.co for links to our amazing Discord community, our socials, our pods, a store. I think that's probably about it. Yeah, I think that's about it.
It's enough, innit?
Yeah, so that's the website.
Thank you so much for living it. It's looking like there will be a full cast next week.
No way.
On the computer game show for some more video game chit chat.
Holy shit.
Take it easy, everybody. I love you. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye.